I don't know if I can survive this.
Administrators have ballooned beyond any reasonable level. Pharmaceutical companies have no transparency. And instead of going after those issues, Secretary Kennedy's calling me a profit monger. Aren't you mad at that?
Yes, I absolutely am.
The definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over again and expect different results.
Agreed.
It's
But
failed.
is it also
It has
insanity to say, since this failed, better not do anything and cut it all together?
He's not saying better not do
He
anything.
cut it in half. Hi, I'm Dr. Mike, board-certified family medicine physician and one of the largest health educators on social media. And today, I'm surrounded by 15 RFK Jr. supporters.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
My first surrounded claim is that RFK Jr. is decimating public health and should step down as Secretary of Health and Human Services.
Oh, shit. I think, did I have this complaint the first time that he's just like a little bit too nice or was trying really hard to be apolitical? Is this one going to be more hardcore?
Hello there.
Hello, hello.
Wait. Okay, there are 15. All right. Wait, did he say, he said 15, right? Why does it say 20?
By 15 RFK Jr. supporter is decimating public health.
What? What is happening?
And should step down as Secretary of Health and Human Services.
Hello there.
Hello, hello.
Dr. Mike.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
How do you feel about my claim?
I think your claim is absurd because we've got someone that is actually challenging, which is science. I mean, science is about scrutiny, not Orwellian obedience. And if we want to find the truth, we should always have both sides of the story and, you know, check out both sides and then find what the truth is.
That's interesting because in some ways I agree with your...
I will never be able to, it's got to be quiz time. Should I do it to Dinesh? I need to still sit down and figure out what my rhetoric. I just really want to grill the fuck out of people that say shit like this. Oh, okay, you're right. Science should be about scrutiny. What scrutinizing have you done? Give me the last 5 papers you read. Give me the last 3 papers you read. Give me the last 1 paper that you've read. Any. Give me the last 3 abstracts you've read. What science do you do if it's so important that you won't trust any doctor, professional, the AMA, or anything else? What do you read? Talk to us about it. It's nothing.
Statement. We should absolutely be skeptical, and science is about proving our initial thoughts wrong. When we do research, for example, we try and look at not just our hypothesis of what we think is going to happen. We actually try to prove the null hypothesis. We actually try to design research that disagrees with us. So I'm curious why you think Secretary Kennedy right now is the correct pick versus what you claim to be the other side.
Let's put it this way. We had to live through the medical tyranny of COVID, and his organization, Children's Health Defense, was on the front line of pushing back against that tyranny. I was part of that. I did protests, and I started a rally in Beverly Hills that was very popular. By the end of the year, we had 4,000 to 6,000 people marching through the streets saying, enough is enough. You know, they first, like Fauci, told us, oh, you know, the masks don't work. And then, oh, you need to wear a mask. And then it was 2 masks. So again, the goalpost just kept moving and moving, and we knew it was just baloney. I mean, anybody can smell a rat. And, you know, we just see a lot of the same pattern, like during HIV, for instance. Remember that Bactrim, the NIH and the government were demonizing this with doctors. And then we find out that it actually does help HIV. But they didn't want to care because they wanted to push AZT, which made a lot of money for Big Pharma. Same thing happened during COVID. Bactrim, they just see a lot of the same pattern, like during HIV, for instance. Remember that Bactrim, the NIH and the government were demonizing this with doctors. And then we find out that it actually does help HIV. But they didn't want to care because they wanted to push AZT, which made a lot of money for Big Pharma. Same thing happened during COVID. And we had 2...
I don't know. I don't know what the bathroom is. AZT, is that how people abbreviate azithromycin or whatever? It's just an antibiotic, right? Hasn't Big Pharma almost cured HIV? Why would they do that? My food's coming soon, so I can eat while watching this. I hate these people. I just wish they should just be banned from hospitals. If you don't trust any of it, that's fine, then don't go. Fuck you.
Doctors here in California that had a 99% success rate. Okay, it was Brian Tyson and George Fareed, and they had 7.
AZT was an early antiretroviral. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, my bad. What do they call what's the abbreviation for azithromycin? I feel like I say like AZT or AT or something. AZT is a big topic in the Rogan sphere. Oh, so is it? So it's obviously retarded then, right? I'm pretty sure most of these people. Is there a is there a poll right now for what conservatives think about ivermectin? Because it wouldn't surprise me if over half of them still think ivermectin is a good treatment for COVID. Bactim is just an important Antibiotic to use in HIV patients. It doesn't treat HIV at all. It just stops you from dying of an infection. Okay. Because when you have HIV, you develop a lot more infections. So these are just things to treat the infections that you're getting before eventually you get too many die, basically, right?
99% success rate. Okay, it was Brian Tyson and George Fareed, and they had 7,000 patients that they helped. 99%.
Wait, what are we talking about? Sorry, hold on.
But they want to cure because they wanted to push AZT, which made a lot of money for big pharma. Same thing happened during COVID, and we had 2 doctors here in California that had a 99% success rate. Okay, it was Brian Tyson and George Fareed, and they had 7,000 patients that they helped.
So like for this. So this, remember, these are like the little research medical tricks that you can know to know the person is lying, or research or science or research tricks. When she's saying that they helped 99% of people, there is no world where all of Big Pharma combined could hide an effect size that great. Now, if she would have said that it slightly helped or it improved outcomes in these particular circumstances, sure. But 7,000 people? That's like the size of like isn't that like a phase 3 trial size of people? 7,000 people? And you had a 99% success rate with this drug and nobody around the world has figured this out because somehow Big Pharma companies just in the United States was able to suppress this highs from every single person? What?
percent, which is better than the COVID-19 shot.
This AZT line is literally from a movie. That's why they all know about it. Oh, okay. Well, I guess I haven't seen the movie.
Because once we saw people taking those shots, we saw people dropping like flies.
Did we though? Did that really ever happen? Ever?
We took a lot of topics there and we tried to put them together, so it's going to be difficult for me to reply to you. Let's start with the idea of moving the goalposts.
Okay.
So, in science, we're always learning, right? As a doctor, the things that I recommend today will likely change in 10 years and 20 years because as knowledge evolves, we're going to make new recommendations. Is that fair to say?
Wait! Something that is really important. Fuck. Wait, what were the tickets to my event in Arizona? Bop, 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 bop. Hydroxychloroquine and vitamin C? Yeah, the vitamin C is always a big giveaway. This person's about to say some bullshit. There are just so many fucking things. When you start reading through these people, metabolic issue is also, as soon as you hear somebody say that, you're about to hear the dumbest shit you've ever heard in your life. Oh, this disease? That's actually a metabolic issue. Is always going to be some fucking shit every fucking time. Toxins or something that detox is almost always complete bullshit. No, it's always complete bullshit. I don't know why I even hedge there. I don't need to hedge on that one. That's always bullshit. Unless you're like, my uncle is having severe problems and he detoxed yesterday. And you're like, detox? You fucking retard. How the fuck does he detox? What happened? Or did his kidneys stop working? Yes. He went to the hospital and he's on dialysis. And now he's dead. That's what I was talking about. You're like, oh shit. I'm sorry. Wait, here, if you live near Phoenix, come to this event. There's only 2 tickets left. We didn't sell a single one earlier. There were 2 left earlier, and now there's 2 left again. Actually, it's 2 more seats we open. There's 2 tickets. Boom, buy it. Have a sense of urgency. Tell your parents to buy it. Tell your unborn children to reserve their own tickets if they're going to be born in the next week and a half. Oh, anybody that uses big as an adjective for anything is also going to tell you some bullshit. Like, big pharma, big tech, well, maybe not big tech, I guess, because that's not usually used. No, actually, it almost always is used as in a conspiratorial manner now. Big tech. Why don't we have big Jew? I've never heard that before. Why don't we ever talk about big Jew? It's always like APAC or Jewry or something else. I feel like big Jew is like...
Fair to say, but this is months, okay? And we know that a virus is 0.3 micron. We see the holes in the mask. You really think that that's going to hold a virus? I mean, we see what virologists wear. It's like a spacesuit.
Yeah, so this is really interesting.
That's not. They don't always wear. Also, a virologist is not. That's just a researcher. It's not. Oh, she just said so many fucking stupid things. Stop. Hold on. Oh, thank you for subbing. DXComX. Ugh.
I love that you point out the particle size. And there's actually a unique principle with particle movements that the reason why N95 masks actually work quite well for the COVID virus, because even when something is smaller than the size of the mask, the pores within the mask, the way that those particles move actually makes them more readily captured by that mask. Isn't that interesting how sometimes what we perceive to be the logical answer sometimes can be disproven in science? And this goes to show in the same way that we made mistakes in the past.
Well, the reason why I'm bringing this up
No, bro, she just said like 20 bad things. And oh, God.
is because they were putting masks on people. So now bacteria is gigantic compared to a virus. We know that, right?
Yeah, they're larger.
And my friend, by the way, was a biology research professor at UCLA. So I've learned a lot from him. And, he went to a very established school, Cambridge University.
Dude, hold on. Actually, I don't know the scientific answers, but like when you sneeze, is it actually like viruses that are actually just coming out of your, when you sneeze? I thought, aren't they like attached to other particulates and that's how they go through the air? Like when we say like a virus is airborne, we don't necessarily mean that they're like flying with wings or floating on their own. Aren't they generally attached to mucus or whatever else is coming out, generally speaking? Aerosol? Ugh.
And that's what he dealt with. That's why he said, this is nonsense. So I'm going to listen to the experts, which is Dr. Elliot Hamoff, and look at, people were getting sick and worse when they were wearing masks because they were forcing themselves to breathe the very bacteria that was dangerous.
Oh, what?
So when I'm in the hospital and I'm treating patients who have COVID-19, for example, I wear an N95 mask. You think I'm wearing that mask to potentially make myself more sick instead of protecting myself from the patient who has COVID-19?
Well, I believe that you believe that it works. I believe that you believe that because the medical industry, I believe, has been corrupt for a long time.
What makes it corrupt?
Well, there's an interest. That people have special interest. It's
Well, how many claims? How many bullshit things has she gotten to say? Oh my God.
Revolving door. When you look at a lot of these NIH or NIAID, these people have been funded by Big Pharma and then they go in the medical industry. So to me, that shows corruption.
So if someone is funded by Big Pharma, does that automatically make them corrupt?
Not necessarily, because there are honest people, but the fact that they censored, even Mark Zuckerberg was asked in the Senate floor if he was being, coerced by the government to shut down free speech when it came to COVID. We had a friend who, her best friend died of COVID shots, 2 of them, and she had these huge boils all over her legs. And they sent her home. They did not report with VAERS that was that. They actually didn't want to even talk about it, which shows me corruption. Then I had a friend, Dr. Simone Gold, that was treating patients with early treatment, and the Master Business Association comes to her, which doesn't have a medical license, and threatened to fire her, which she did. She got fired. That is called medical tyranny.
What? What? Oh my God! Wait, what?
Sorry.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
you.
Okay.
Yes.
Appreciate you.
Hello,
sir. How are you?
Brian.
Pleasure, Brian. Nice to meet you.
So I have a few questions to start with, just going to want to make sure that we're actually debating the topic that you would like to debate. To say that he's decimating public health, are there specific measures that you would like to cover, to talk about, that you believe constitutes the decimation?
Yeah, so where do we start? In order to do good public health, in order for me to know what treatments are right for my patients, we need to do research. And currently, the NIH, the CDC budgets for research have been absolutely decimated by billions of dollars. In fact, I wrote down a few of them, if you don't mind me sharing, because I think it's valuable to talk about. So we're not talking in abstract.
Okay.
For research, we've terminated $3.8 billion into cancer, HIV, ALS, and maternal health, important subjects. The entire NIH CDC budgets have been cut in half. We've created an issue where in the Environmental Protection Agency for the Office of Research, we fired over 1,000.
Isn't that the guy? Wait, yeah, he looked familiar, but I don't know why. Is he the guy? Do I know this guy? Am I just seeing Hunter Biden? I have no idea this guy's. Never mind.
And scientists who do that research to figure out if there's toxic pollutants that cause negative health outcomes. We've cut the CDC branch for environmental health tracking for lead and water safety. We've canceled NIH diabetes prevention program that ran for 30 years. And we've eliminated the Federal Newborn Screening Advisory Committee. So that's just a few of them.
Okay, so considering all of that, before when we had all of that money, where did that get us? Look at the state of America, of Americans' health, and you tell me that the public is actually healthy.
Compared to what, bro? Where did it get us? Where did it get us for what? We've got so many new different treatments for it. It got us fucking the fat. We found the anti-fat drug, bro. What are you talking about?
What RFK is doing is he is saying enough is enough. Something has to change. And I will say this very politely, but I think that you have to be insane to say more is somehow going to get us out of the current public health crisis that we have right now. Americans are fat and they are sick, and it is not getting better. And taking more and more money and continuing to flush it down the toilet is not going to solve the problem. We know what will stop cancer dead in its tracks. We know what will stop all chronic disease dead in its tracks. Do you know what it is?
What is it? Is it going to be
a
certain diet? It's got to be metabolic issue. That my guess is the metabolic. That's when the meme's going to come up. What stops everything? Is it? What else do they blame? Processed foods? No.
Probably processed food and red meats.
No, definitely not. Red meat, Mootin?
It's a known carcinogen.
You're so fucking retarded. I don't know what you're talking about right now. You're on some science bullshit. We're talking about manly
You'd have
shit.
to talk to my wife.
We're talking about some manly shit right now, okay? They would never, ever, ever want to get rid of their precious meat.
Lifestyle changes.
Lifestyle changes. The American Heart Association has known about this for years. The most important predictor of longevity, risk of chronic disease, all-cause mortality is VO2 max. So why aren't doctors, why isn't the government creating a public health system that says, you know what, we're going to focus on VO2 max because...
Holy, is this true? Has the American Heart Association been hiding the fact that cardiovascular, it's literally called cardio. Like what? Like doing exercise and increasing your endurance is, yeah, it's good for you. Why are we pretending like this is a secret?
Even if we stopped every dollar we had, putting it into cancer research right now, and we took that money and we said, let's get people moving, let's increase their VO2 max, cancer has stopped dead in its tracks. So the question is,
how do you just increase people's VO2 max? This probably, I don't know how it's actually measured. Is it just measured with how much you can breathe and exhale, or do they actually measure like volumetrically? Because like any disease that you have that hurts your circulatory stuff or whatever else is all going to decrease your VO2 max. Like being unhealthy in general is going to decrease it. Having worse like physical health, like in terms of how much you exercise, not even talking about disease. Like how do you just pump up, like are we talking about like lung expander transplants? Like...
When is enough to admit that the system you are a part of has drastically failed Americans? And RFK Jr., by the very fact of how he looks in his 70s, does more to encourage people to live a healthy lifestyle.
Oh! RFK Jr. looks the way that he does and is able to do this because he's on fucking roids, because of the fucking big pharma industry that has TRT for every single male influencer you see over the age of 27 on fucking social media these days. Come on, bro. I think RFK's even open about his TRT shit. Give me a break. Oh my God, kill me.
And truly make America healthy again.
Very passionate.
Yeah, this guy's probably on fucking TRT. True.
I mean that with all sincerity because...
I mean, I'm not trying to be an ass. Like,
I don't think you are. I know you might feel like it's coming off aggressive, but I actually think it's passion, and it's passion that I share. I think lifestyle changes are incredibly important. So in order to make these meaningful changes, in order to get people to eat healthier, to exercise more,
Eat
it
fresh
takes
boys.
research dollars in order to figure out what programs work. Like in New York, in my home
Do
state.
you really think it takes research dollars?
Yeah, because...
It's really simple. It's sunlight, it's being active, it's having a healthy home environment, it's eating food that comes from regenerative agriculture. It's not rocket science. It is really, really simple, but I think that the farmers...
Eating food that comes from regenerative agriculture. Oh, that's a new bullshit term I've never heard before. What's that one?
Pharmaceutical industry tries to complicate it to make people question it so that they run to their doctor. And I'll be very frank with you.
Wait. Oh, he should have owned him right here. Run to their doctor? Run to their doctor? That sounds like they're doing exercise right there, bitch.
I think that you have great intentions. I really do. And I'm really glad that it's you sitting here because I think part of the reason why these discussions get so heated is because both parties start thinking that the other party has bad intentions.
Sure.
I just think that you are a bit confused about where we should be putting our emphasis and putting our money.
So the difficulty, I know it sounds easy to say, let's get people moving, let's get people eating healthy. So I work at a community health center. It's near impossible to change behaviors as simply as you put it. I've launched a program during my residency program where I, as a physician, exercised with my patients. I brought them in to try and see if spending time with your doctor, exercising, getting them to do it safely was a way to get them motivated. And we saw some successes, but in order to have done that, we need to scale that, we need to trial that to see ultimately how behaviors change. For example, you've seen research where people say, if you give people step counter and they walk 10,000 steps a day, they're healthier. Well, yeah, if you walk more, you move more, you're healthier.
Like, Dr. Mike should ask, how many people in this room know that if you exercise regularly, it's better for your body? Like, how many people are not going to raise their head and go, I didn't know that. Oh, the American Medical Association fucking suppressed that knowledge, bro.
But when we actually looked at long-term research of getting people step counters, it didn't change
You
behavior.
literally just contradicted yourself. And unless you're saying we need to take that money that RFK Jr. is cutting from the budget and we need to spend it on the approaches that we know work, then all you're doing is just supporting the system as is.
Did he
Spend it on what? What, are you going to buy Nikes for everybody and assume they're going to become fucking distance runners? Or what are you talking about? You should ask them. Spend it where? What do you mean? Spend it where? How much money do you need somebody to give you to go fucking take a walk?
take half the budget and make it for exercise?
Well, personally, I don't think that's the government's role. And the reason
That's
why,
fair.
the reason why.
Oh, and then he fucking immediately, it does the conservative mind fuck. We need to stop spending all this money on big pharma and spend it on healthy exercise behavior. Oh, okay, so we should take the money away and then spend it on healthy exercise behavior? That's what you said? Well, actually, no, I don't think the government should spend that money on anything. Like, okay.
it's the government's roles. I'm going to tell you a story. And ultimately, this is what it comes down to.
Oh,
Okay?
boy.
I was in a halfway house in Newark, New Jersey. Okay. I could leave the halfway house because I was technically still an inmate.
What is halfway, like half the median IQ? What is that? I'm sorry. I know that's not what it means.
And I could go to my job, all right? If I veered from that path, I could literally go back to prison, okay? But eating healthy was so important to me that I broke the rules, went to Whole Foods, and bought healthy food on an $8 an hour job that the halfway house took 20%, and I still did not make excuses, and I found a way to eat healthy, okay? Doctors, the federal government, it's never going to instill that in people, and I think that it's wrong to really place that responsibility on you. You do not have the tools in your toolbox to effectively change behavior. And whether it's ego, I mean, like, I think you're a good
What
person.
tools are we
think,
missing?
I think it's more societal, and it's more
Well,
cultural.
you just said the government shouldn't be a part of it. So when you say societal, how
The
so?
president would have more power right now with the bully pulpit than any form of legislation. And that's what I'm trying to say, is that what RFK represents for so many people that support him, he represents a cultural shift that will have more power than any form of legislation. It's just like my political views. I do not believe in democracy. I believe in a consumerocracy. F the laws, f the politicians, f the legislation. They will fail us regardless of which party it is, okay? But right now, we could change the world if we all went out there and we made different consumer decisions. You don't have to have one president change. You don't have to have one law change. This goes viral right here. People start talking about a consumerocracy. The world changes. Laws, politicians, legislations will never have that power. You are trying to fight a problem with force when the solution is power. And we have to shift from that.
Can I ask you something real quick? Just because before we shift topics, I think
This is like saying you should get rid of prisons and just put all that money into better parenting. Like, by the time somebody's breaking the law and committing crimes, you got to have a place to put them, and you need a system to deal with them. By the time somebody's sick and in the hospital, like, dog, instead of getting a triple bypass surgery, why don't you just go run a marathon? Like, it's a little bit too late. There are different systems that have different responsibilities. They do different things. He's right. Doctors don't have the tools to make you exercise more. That's not their fucking job. That's a personal trainer's job.
it's important. A lot of what you're saying, I want to say back to you, and you tell me if I'm seeing your point well, is that individual responsibility here is more important than societal responsibility for keeping people healthy. I respect your viewpoint. Now, this is my viewpoint, and tell me what part of this you disagree with. I think individual responsibility is incredibly important. I try and instill that in all my patients. That exercise is important. I try all different strategies to try and get them individually motivated. But from a societal perspective, let's, for example, say we make a city more walkable. We make lighting more available, especially at night. We create more sidewalks. We make more parks. We create programs for kids to participate in after-school sports programs. Those are societal things that politicians can get behind. Don't you think that will make it easier for individuals to be healthy?
All of the money that you're advocating for, and you're criticizing RFK Jr. for cutting in the budget, none of that money went to those things.
When you,
if you
diabetes
told me,
prevention, how do you think we think about diabetes prevention?
well, let me ask you this. How many people have diabetes right now? Has the number gone up since that program's been in effect for the past 30 years? So the question is, when is enough enough? The definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over again and expect different results.
Agreed.
It's
but
failed.
is it also
has
insanity
failed.
to say, since this failed, better not do anything and cut it all together?
He's not saying better not do
He
anything.
cut it in half.
Okay, but is he doing nothing?
Yes.
No,
Tell me what he's done
not
to
doing
encourage
nothing.
people to exercise.
Okay, what about the law in Texas that he passed with, I forget exactly what it was, but he's going around, he's essentially using what would be considered his bully pulpit.
RFK Jr. passed a law in Texas. What does the law in Texas do? Make you exercise more? What? What does the law in Texas do?
And he's trying to inspire people and make cultural changes. And ultimately,
But
that's
he can
going
be
to
an
more
inspirational
powerful.
figure and not be the head of Health and Human Services.
So it's really simple. Where has legislation gotten us? We take all of our time, all of our energy, and all of our budget, and we put it into legislation.
agree, it's been
and
ineffective.
here's the deal. Whether you want to admit it or not, when you have something...
Don't agree on that. Why are you throwing your whole industry under the bus, Dr. Mike? No. What do you mean? We've got, even if you're talking about diabetes, we've got groundbreaking treatments for so many different things. Like, pharmaceutical people or doctors or researchers can't help it that people are also getting fat as fuck. Like, what's the implication here? That Big Pharma is making people fat?
thing like pharmaceutical companies funding 70% of research.
Do you think junk food is healthy?
No.
Do you think burgers and fries are healthy?
Not at all.
Why in the first month that Secretary Kennedy was put into office, he's sitting at a Steak and Shake talking about how brave it is that they're frying beef tallow?
Do not. Well, first of all, putting fries in beef tallow actually is not unhealthy.
Oh, I knew it. That's why. See? You see, Mr. Mooten, you dumb fuck. It's never going to be a concession on like actual healthy or unhealthy
Yeah,
foods.
you're right.
It's going to be the manly bullshit. And this guy doesn't even have to work for his shit because he's probably fucking jacked to the tits on fucking TRT. I have low T, and that's why my doctor puts me at 1,500 fucking nanograms per
actually-
deciliter, whatever the fuck. I need this. This is my natural levels. Don't mind this gut on my bed attitude. I fucking need it.
Beef tallow,
It's not about
so
whether or not it's
healthy.
unhealthy. Do you think sitting at a Steak and Shake, one of the leading contributors
I
to
do
our
not-
obesity
I
epidemic,
do not agree.
was that valuable?
I do not agree with everything that he's done. I also.
What do you agree with besides the Texas individual?
I think that before he was getting to office, he was supporting regenerative agriculture. I think that regenerative agriculture has the ability to change the world. I find it comical that people drive Teslas because supposedly they're scared about global warming, and yet they eat vegetables and they have no idea that there's 550 gigatons of carbon in the air from topsoil depletion, specifically related to vegetable growth.
Okay, I don't know if I ate the vegan pill on this tour, but if we want to talk about pollution, isn't animal agriculture like 1 billion times more polluting than vegetables? That's what we're attacking? What?
crop farming. There's only 350 gigatons related to the burning of burning of carbon fuels. We could literally stop all the carbon in the air, dead in its tracks, put it back in the soil in 1 year if we switched over to regenerative agriculture. Why isn't that being talked about?
Because he cut $15 million from the PFAS farm program to track PFASs, which are potentially toxic chemicals, on farms. He's cutting these programs.
Once
The
again,
EPA is
it goes back
losing
to
their
the
research
consumer.
and
It goes
development.
back to the consumer.
How can the
If
consumer know about the
makes
farm?
different choices. What do you mean? How can the consumer? Like I said, I was in a halfway house. Okay, I had everything against me, and I still found a way because I believe.
But what
in
if
it.
that Whole Foods
Even
that you
though
went
the
to
entire
had
system was
toxic foods in it?
against me?
But what if
But it didn't.
Sorry,
Dr.
I
Mike,
appreciate
that was
you.
a pleasure.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yep.
You can just say, oh, okay, so your solution is we just need every single person to make different decisions. Thanks, get the fuck out of here. Can you bring somebody on that wants to say some real shit?
Hello, hello.
Nice to meet you, Dr.
Pleasure.
Blake.
Nice
How
to
are
meet
you?
as well? I'm excited to be here because, you know, a lot of times when people do these debates, folks want to win. And genuinely, I want to learn from you guys and learn what we're doing wrong in healthcare that's impacting you. So I'm all ears.
I completely agree. It's not about winning. It's about getting to the truth. And I think we all can agree that we all want the truth. And that's why, that's one of the reasons why I support RFK is because he supports transparency.
Okay.
And especially with like vaccines and healthcare and everything like that. Another thing about RFK is that he's working to get fluoride out of the water. Why do we have fluoride in the water in the first place? Is it for dental care? I think that's an individual thing. If you want strong teeth, you should probably just brush your teeth and floss. You know what I mean? You shouldn't rely on a government regulated system of.
True. We need to get rid of the fluoride. We need to load it up with fucking antipsychotics. That would be the #1 way to improve society.
Our water system to give you good dental care. Like, I feel like there's ulterior motives.
Are
You
you
know what I mean?
against government programs that try and help groups of people as opposed to just individuals?
Not necessarily. It just depends on what it is.
Well, because when we say in America that the chronic health diseases in children is going up, it is. And I think I agree with everyone here on that. Statistics don't lie. But one of those chronic issues is dental disease. So
you
if
know
we
what I
can
think
do
can
something.
be improved by that? I think parents should stop giving their children so much sugar. Or maybe we should look at the food industry and ask why there's so much sugar in absolutely everything.
Can you walk into
Oh, what would we do to change how the food industry operates? What would be a thing that you might pass? It
Regulations.
starts with the letter R, yeah, and it rhymes with
Regurgitation.
undulation. Yeah, yeah.
chew gum at the same time?
Are you going to bring up correlation?
No.
Yeah, you can walk and chew gum at the
So
same
you
time.
can do both things. Like
Sorry, I shouldn't make fun of my
Giving their children so much sugar. Or maybe we should look at the food industry and ask why there's so much sugar in absolutely everything.
can you walk and chew gum at the same time?
Are you going to bring up correlation?
No.
What did correlation even have to do with that? Oh my god, she's so fucking dialogue treed. Holy shit.
Yeah, you can walk and chew gum at the
So
same
you
time.
can do both things. Like, why can't we encourage patients and parents to not overfeed their kids
We can.
added sugars
We can.
and make government programs that improve children's health?
But there's no point, like, why would I want water with an extra ingredient if I could just have pure water? You know what I mean? Why would I need a government organization
can
to
buy
put
water
a
without
chemical?
fluoride
But
in
why
it.
should I have to buy it? I think water, obviously, nothing's free.
Do you I'm getting really pedantic here. Water is not pure water generally, no? Like, isn't pure H2O called distilled H2O? Like, if you buy like pure distilled water in the store, it's like purely distilled. Like, that's what I think it's supposed to be 100% H2O or whatever. Like, I'm pretty sure people keep saying pure water will kill you and is bad for you. I feel like there was a YouTube video that came out on this, and now everybody's repeating this retarded fucking. I seriously doubt pure water will kill you. My guess is you probably need some amount of electrolytes or whatever, but we probably get plenty of fucking sodium and everything else from our diet that I seriously doubt drinking pure water will fucking kill you. Destiny, you're splitting hairs? Well, no, because adding a little bit of fluoride to the water, you know, if it already has minerals and other shit in it, she's acting like I could either get pure distilled fucking water or I can get this poisoned fluoridated water.
But, like, water without chemicals should be free to get. If I want to drink out of my faucet, I should be able to do that.
That's not water without chemicals, though. That's not right. I'm almost positive I'm correct on this. You don't get like distilled water out of your fucking faucet. I'm almost positive on this.
Without having fluoride in it, without having to worry about fluoridosis or any other, like, you know, overfluoridation, you know, in my body. Why would I not be
and you're against
privy to that?
buying a filter to get rid of
I'm not
that,
against
right?
that, but why should I have to go out and buy that?
Well, because
you know what I mean?
everything in healthcare or public health always has a trade-off. Like, if I'm giving anyone any medication, any therapy, there's always risks and benefits. So when we think about the benefit of putting fluoride in water in order to get kids to have healthier teeth, we think about the impact on the general population. And in fact, you're right. There's been some research that shows people who have high levels of fluoride, especially children. Actually, this doesn't apply to adults at all, but only for children. They can have neurologic issues.
Exactly.
However, it's very important to look at the numbers and the areas that were studied, because certain areas, like in Asia, they have naturally.
Pure water would leach minerals from your body. Wouldn't that be a benefit to most Americans? My understanding is our diets are naturally way too high in sodium regardless. Am I wrong on that? Where's my doctor people?
very high levels of fluoride, not added by the government, natural occurring fluoride. And those numbers are quite high. So it really depends on what that number is and what that safe number is.
The thing about Asia is if that's naturally in the water, then people from Asia are naturally adapted to that, which means it wouldn't like
so if you
affect
move
them.
to Asia, you
100% pure unmineralized water would dehydrate you. It would bind to all the salts in your body. But don't we already have bodies that are already high in salt content?
have neurologic issues.
If you said then people from Asia are naturally adapted to that, which means it wouldn't like
So if you
affect
moved to
them.
Asia, you would have neurologic issues?
If you said it didn't apply to adults, then maybe not. Because
I mean, as a child.
as a child, probably. If you're not from that area, your body's not adapted to that. Which means if there's studies shown that people who have high levels of fluoride in their body have neurological issues, then yeah, I'm sure that they would.
Well,
but also, on another note, hold on one second. On another note, why? Because if there's fluoride in the water and fluoride in the toothpaste and chemicals in our food, there comes a point where these things start stacking up. And I would much rather have kids with cavities than kids with neurological issues. You know what I mean?
That's a false choice.
It's-
You're not choosing kids with neurologic disease or cavities. That's not really the two choices you're making when you're making that decision.
So then what's the choice?
So I guess my question to you is when you say chemicals, like oxygen's a chemical, water's a chemical. So how do I am trying to really get down to the core of your argument to better understand you. I'm not
Okay.
trying to get you
Yeah,
to touch,
yeah,
I
yeah,
promise.
yeah.
So like, how do you decide what a chemical is? Is dihydrogen monoxide a chemical in your book?
Can you give me like the short version?
Dihydrogen monoxide.
Is that oxygen?
No, that's water.
Water. Oh, water.
But like, that's what I'm saying. Like you can
I'm
make
not a
anything.
chemist or anything.
But I'm not trying to trick you.
No,
The
that's a
point is to show
compound. That's
you
a compound.
It's a chemical.
There's a thing, but there's a difference between endogenous chemicals, things that I can make my body makes, right?
Right.
And exogenous chemicals that
But does
come
your
from
body make
external-
water?
Does my body make fluoride?
But does your body make water?
Oh,
You need water to live.
I need water to live. Okay, but my body is 72% water, which means that I am fully made of water. Like I was
Like, we
born.
need essential
I was born
amino
with
acids.
Water.
They're
I was born
called-
with water. You know what I mean?
Just kill myself. I would kill myself. If I was Dr. Mike, this would be the end for me. I would need a will and everything before going on this. I wouldn't be able to do it.
I wasn't born with fluoride.
Yeah, but the water came from your parent.
My what? Yeah,
From
my
your
parent, of course. But
Who
I didn't
got
get
water
any-
from the environment.
That's fine, but like,
So there's
where
certain
do the
things
first
we need.
single-celled amoeba get the water from? You know what I mean? Like, we all, any living being has water, right? But
But
not
we
everything.
need the water to survive. We
That's,
need
that's
food
fine.
to
We're not
survive.
here to debate about water. So what's your point?
My point is, how do you decide what's a bad chemical versus a good chemical?
The effects on the body.
Okay,
Right.
pause. We're out of time.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Nice to meet you.
Hey, before we go any further, we want to take a moment to say thanks so much to Straight Arrow News for powering the fact checks in this video.
There is an optimal amount of salt for your body. Salt being a general term for many chemicals like calcium, potassium, etc. You can easily wash out a significant portion of them by drinking distilled water. I don't believe you. I think you would have to drink distilled water for like weeks to have this happen. There is no world where somebody accidentally drinks distilled water for a day like, oh, I'm dying, I'm dead. All of my electrolytes are gone. They're all gone. I don't believe you. Link me something. I'm looking it up. This looks like bullshit. It looks like you have to do this for like months or years, like chronically. Drinking like ultra purified water. I'm guessing also with no other sources of electrolytes in your diets. This was on a YouTube video. You guys saw this and you're going full fucking hard. Somebody put this in a YouTube video. If you drink ultra pure water, it'll fucking kill you. And now you're on some shit. Stop. You're trolling me.
Getting you the clarity you deserve and news you can trust. Go to san.com/surrounded or click the link in the description to check it out. By clicking that link, you're not just supporting this channel. You also take advantage of a better way to get the news. Welcome back to Trustworthy Journalism. Thanks again to Straight Arrow News for partnering with us.
This answer is the best I've read. I think you might be right. I am right. I looked up IVs as well and why we don't use pure water. Well, there is a balance in your body. There's like an osmotic balance that you have to have between salts and fucking water or whatever. Like a saline solution is, I say salt, I don't know how broad salt is, but it's like salty water. That's what saline is. Because you can't, especially if somebody needs an IV, if you were to IV them up with a fuck ton of water, if they're already like lacking fluids, well, then you might throw off that balance. You might actually start, fucking with somebody for sure. Sure.
On this episode, now let's get into it.
My next surrounding claim is that the Maha movement is
We
sabotaging
didn't even debate the last language. Okay.
the doctor-patient relationship.
Hi, doctor.
Hello.
Pleasure
Pleasure.
to meet you. Okay, so repeat your claim for me.
My claim is that the Maha movement is sabotaging the doctor-patient relationship.
Okay, so for me, I'm going to take this back to COVID, and I don't want to stay on this topic. I had the Delta variant.
Okay.
And I went to the doctors, and I told them, I'm sick, got tested positive, and my doctor told me, go home until you cannot breathe.
Okay.
At the same time, we didn't have any of the
Scary advice.
Yeah, we didn't have any of the monoclonic antibodies. We weren't offered any therapies where I was listening to doctors and then watching them be censored. So I think if anything damaged the doctor-patient relationship, that was it. For me, I actually had a friend run up to my house from Huntington Beach, about a 2-hour drive, brought me azithromycin, hydroxychloroquine, and ivermectin. Within 48 hours, I started to recover.
Wow.
Wow. You had a disease whose runtime is anywhere from like 5 to 12 days, and they brought you a bunch of random bullshit at some point when you were sick, and in 2 days you got better? Oh my God. That's fucking crazy, bro.
A lot of drugs.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think that hurt the doctor-patient relationship more than anything else.
Because your doctor sent you home without treatment?
Well, that doctor and 2 telemed doctors.
I see.
All of them. No drugs, nothing to treat
Can I
what
ask
I
you something
have.
about that?
Absolutely.
I'm saying that the MAHA movement is sabotaging the doctor-patient relationship. And you're talking about how the COVID pandemic sabotaged the doctor-patient relationship.
Correct.
You know what's wild? I agree with you. I think we sabotage.
It's too friendly. Wait, I thought this was a meaner interview. Either I read this on my sub, and some people in the chat were saying it's not an interview, but like a Jubilee thing. This is way too much agreement.
The doctor-patient relationship.
Great.
So can you talk about how the MAHA movement's impacting it?
Well, I want to share with you what I'm going through right now because a month ago my husband collapsed and had a brain tumor.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's glioblastoma.
That's terrible.
And I don't want to cry.
No, why?
But
Is glioblastoma, that's like the you're fucked one, right? That's like the one that like peppers all over, and is it glioblastoma or whatever? Or is it glioblastoma?
No. Take a breath.
yeah.
Totally acceptable to cry.
Yeah, but what I'm running into now is
Oh no. Finding out that it was either caused by the vax or caused by processed foods, and if he would have been on an all fruit diet or something, it would have cured him earlier on, but since Big Pharma I don't know. We'll see.
they want us to do standard care, where I think as a patient, we should have the right to try. We're currently looking into Dr. Sun Xiang's trial for his bioimmunity therapy.
Okay.
He's getting treatment at Cedar, couldn't ask for better oncologists, but we cannot treat him with bioimmunity therapies until he goes through chemo and radiation, which basically, if he's not doing bioimmunity, that's going to kill both his good and bad cells. So for me, this is really personal at this point. I am looking into it, and I'm seeing the people that you want funded getting in the way of my husband's treatment, where I and my husband as a patient should have a right to try.
I just wouldn't be able to do it. We need to have like a section of people that we train as like doctor houses. So take all like the ASPD, like the antisocial doctors, and like give them to these patients, okay? Oh my God.
Correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not an expert in oncology.
Okay.
Isn't there such thing as right to try legislation that already exists?
There is, but I don't know why. Like, for instance, it's the FDA's in the way.
But the FDA is currently run by Secretary Kennedy. So he's
My guess is to what's happening here, maybe. My guess, I don't know why I'm guessing this because all this shit is too complicated for me anyway. My guess is they have an insurance company that covers treatments, and the insurance company is like, maybe we should like try the stuff that we know has some positive outcomes before jumping into your very weird hypothetical experimental treatments that have no proven outcomes yet. I don't know about this bioimmunity thing she's talking about. I'll admit, bioimmunity sounds like a thing that immediately sounds fucking stupid to me, but I feel like I just saw like a fucking R Science post like a week ago that said that they actually had engineered some way to create like cell immunity to certain types of cancer. So maybe there might be maybe what she's talking about is a real experimental treatment. I don't know. I don't know the doctor. I don't know anything else. And based on everything else she said, I wouldn't believe her. But
Well,
you're
and again,
ending right
but
now?
see, right now,
Because then we're on the same team.
Well, but at the same time, we can also go back into Biden's administration where all the money was going into changing kids' genders.
All the money?
Well, a lot of it. A lot
much
of that
of it?
was, well, I don't know the dollar amount. But again,
is that
all the money.
important?
I think that the whole industry has failed us, and I can't
agree.
even go back into who's in power. What I do like about Kennedy, if we're going
Yeah,
to
please.
stick on
Yeah,
Kennedy,
Kennedy.
I like that for the first time I found out how dangerous this water bottle I'm drinking out of is. I like for the fact that they're
my
taking these
God.
dyes out of food. I like that they just passed where they're going to lower the drug prices, where
Oh, yeah.
we end up paying the same amount as people from all over the world. These are things I like. I don't think that I've ever seen a perfect HHS secretary, and I can agree that there's things that Kennedy probably is doing that I don't agree with, but there's definitely the thing that I like about him.
Do you think she's had fillers and other work done on her face? Like, that's not okay? That's fine. That's not scary, but
Is he's opening up other options where before I feel like everything was, you must do it by this. And again, I would like to see the FDA broken. I've been trolling Dr. Soon nonstop to the point I've gotten in touch with him, but my husband's starting chemo on Tuesday.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
That's a lot, yeah.
And so there, I
the
just
system-
barfed all over you.
No. Look, you're the person that every time I make a video about, I think about. Every time I'm going to the hospital to work, you're the person I'm thinking about. Every time I fact check one of Secretary Kennedy's claims, you're the person I think about. You're the person I want to
Way
get
too
accurate
nice.
information. Not information from Biden's secretary, not from President Trump's secretary. I don't care who's secretary. I want you to get the honest information so you can decide what's right for you and your husband. And currently, I don't feel like that's happening. And I'll explain why so you could decide if what you think I'm saying is bullshit or not. In 2024, when Secretary Kennedy was running for president, he was on stage and he talked about how GLP-1 medications, these Ozempics, Wegovy's and such, paralyze your stomach. They do these terrible things to your body. They're poisoning our nation. In Europe, they're illegal. All of that is untrue or overblown. A year later, he's standing with President Trump, celebrating that Americans are having access to these medications. How can you believe what he's saying when every time he's flip-flopping about the truth to you? When in early 2000s, he's doing interviews about mercury. He says vaccines save hundreds, millions of lives. And then now he's telling you they're a big problem and causing people death. How do you decide when he's telling the truth versus when he's not, when there's constant hypocrisy coming from him as an individual?
Well, I don't think that it's 100%. I think that there's good things and there's bad things with anybody that's in power.
I agree.
And
Oh
for me,
my God.
I honestly am not coming here just
hand
gung-ho.
waving.
I want to learn from you. I think
That's
you are
amazing. I
here in good
appreciate that.
faith. I don't think that you're a bad man just trying to win the argument. And trust me, I've sat in this chair where that's exactly what the person in the other seat wants to do. What I would like is to see freedom for you as a doctor.
Sure.
What I would like to see is freedom for me as a patient and to be able to pursue those avenues that are best. Again, as far as Ozempic, you know what? If you eat too much ice cream, I say cut down on the ice cream. I'm not 100% behind that whole Ozempic thing because I think it's vain. I think
What
that
about
there's-
for people who have diabetes?
well, I think that there's better ways for them to lose weight. My ex-son-in-law has diabetes and the bad kind, and yet he drinks alcohol. You know, that's probably worse for him than anything. But I do like what Kennedy's doing as far as not
The
censoring
dyes you mentioned,
the
right?
dyes and the plastics in our food, getting the pesticides out of our
So
food,
let's
thing
talk
like
about the
that.
dyes, because I think that's an interesting point. A lot of people talk about red dye number 40,
Right.
that there was some research showing that kids who overconsume it have higher rates of hyperactivity and potentially tying it to ADHD. You've heard that. So that research is real. It
Right.
does exist. It's shorter term, but it does exist. So I actually think removing these petroleum-based dyes is not necessarily a bad thing. I think it's a plus side into Secretary Kennedy's agenda. However, the issues that you're talking about giving doctors a chance to be with their patients the way we're spending time together is a systemic flaw. We don't get time with our patients. The difference between seeing a naturopath versus a primary care doctor is that the primary care doctor usually spends 5 to 10 minutes with you. And that's not because they don't like you or they don't care about you. It's the system sucks for them.
Well, and also because they probably have to spend 10 plus years in school and doing their specified training and doing their residency and everything else, whereas to be a homeopathic fucking or you just have to watch 7 YouTube videos and then throw the title on your office.
So can we get Secretary Kennedy to change the system?
Really quick, what I would like to see happen was you as a physician be able to reach across the aisle and work synergetically with other doctors that are specialists in other areas.
I mean, people do this. I don't know what's best or not best. I feel like I've heard doctor friends complain about this though, where you have like a team of doctors. Because I've heard some people say it's nice to be able to just see one doctor for everything, and I've heard some doctors. I think I've heard pros and cons where like it's nice to be able to refer people to specialists, but it's annoying. But I've heard like it's annoying that like one person might bounce between 7 different doctors. I don't know what the right answer is there, or whatever. But I'm just saying like everything has its pros and cons, you know.
Sure.
For instance, with this oncology, the oncologist should work with the radiologist who should be working with
they're not.
bioimmunity.
They do. What does that mean? The oncologist should be working with the radiologist. Like, what does she think that you just show up in radiology and they like throw darts at the board to figure out where they're zapping or what? Like what?
Well, they're not allowed to work with the bioimmunity until he does radiation and chemo, which are going to destroy all of his good cells. So that's a problem. So I think as far
You're probably not in general allowed to try experimental treatments that don't have any proven efficacy before doing the standard treatments. And also, when I say allowed, it's probably more just what their insurance will cover. Because I bet if you have the money to pay for it, I shouldn't generalize. Sometimes they'll accept people into some of these trials, sometimes for free, just because they need more patients to experiment on. But I don't know which one in particular she's talking about, so I can't really speak to that.
as everything that's gone on, like for instance, you brought up the kids with ADHD. When my son was in 3rd grade, I had a teacher.
The more I listen to you, Destiny, the more I agree that these people just don't deserve medical care if they claim to not believe in any of it. Yes. True.
But
This is my anger speaking when I say this. The reality is technically Dr. Mike has the correct take where when he's talking about this, he's thinking of these people. The problem is that these people have just been brainwashed by years and years of lies and misinformation on so many different social media platforms. The people that you should hate are Zuckerberg and Elon fucking retard Musk. These are the people that you should hate who have no obligation. They feel no responsibility. They feel no nothing to do anything about their platforms in order to combat any of this stuff. And the Republican Party, like the party leaders, not necessarily members of it, because these people are really just victims who've been brainwashed. They have a great capacity for information. Remember too, like, I use this word stupid so often, low IQ. I've even said it here, right? I said stupid, I said low IQ. What, was it this lady or the last person? They rattled off, I think it was this lady at the beginning, like, when I got sick, they didn't offer me any monoclonal antibodies or any of these treatments, and I had a friend who came over and they brought azithromycin and hydroxychloroquine and all, and it's like, damn, well, you have a lot of information in here. It's just all fucking bullshit, right? That's the problem. And I think it's, I've said this a lot. I've stood on this a lot over the past couple of years even, that liberals make this mistake of thinking it's hard to sell our agenda because ours is so much information and conservatives can just lie. No, conservatives try to sell their agenda and they sell it with a lot of information too. They do sell a lot of information. It's just all bullshit.
As far as everything that's gone on, like for instance, you brought up the kids with ADHD. When my son was in 3rd grade, I had a teacher who didn't like that he was a boy and hyperactive. She came to me in 3rd grade, put him on pills.
Yeah, that's rude. I'm sorry.
And I said
that
no.
shouldn't happen.
And
Your teacher, he shouldn't even concede that. Your teacher can't put you on pills. Your teacher's not, what is it? Teacher also a doctor?
I said no, but how many
And
kids?
I'm not saying that shouldn't happen because no children should be on the medication.
Yeah, but
It's
they're
just it's
putting
too early.
everybody
Yeah,
on
it's too,
it.
I will. This is another point I will succumb.
Right.
We are sometimes too quick to start medications.
Right.
And I think the reason for
Who
this
is
needs to
they
be
are putting
evaluated.
everybody
Part of
on
it, we
It's
have
the parent's decision. It's not like that
With the doctor,
fucking
yeah. Yeah, it's not the teacher. Yeah, but there's more to talk about here too, because like society is like very narrow in terms of like what is rewarded in society and everything else. But like I think it's too many concessions. We'll see. I don't know.
less time with our patients, so therefore we have to just do what we can. Second, we also have patients that are very consumer driven. Give me a pill to fix it as opposed to making me do the work to fix it. I don't want a patient blame, but this is the reality of what happens. So how do we fix all of these big problems without creating disconnects by cutting research budgets? Like if Secretary Kennedy
Well, I want to
came,
know where that money went because a
It
lot
didn't
of
go anywhere.
Well, a lot
It
of
just
this
got cut.
money though was going to insurance companies.
The
A
research
lot-
dollars doesn't go to insurance
Well,
companies.
I would. You've seen what happens in local politics. I see a lot of money laundering going on. I hate to say it.
Thank you so
Bro!
much. I appreciate you.
I really appreciate
Wait,
you.
are you talking?
No.
Oh, okay.
in local politics. I see a lot of money laundering going on. I hate to say it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
Oh, it was the guy. It was the director or whatever. Okay.
I really
going through a
appreciate you.
lot.
Thank you.
Yeah, the thing that makes it impossible for me, I just can't. I'm not. I either need to up my fucking happy meds or something. I just can't do it. I don't have the moral character to deal with it. I can't. I can deal with somebody who's stupid, and I can deal with somebody who's like an asshole. I can't deal with stupid assholes. Smugness is whatever, but smug retards, I can't. It's too much. So like it's the same thing politically when we talk about the tit for tat thing or whatever with conservatives. It's everything. It's like if you want to say like, listen, I watched RFK Jr. say this. I watched Joe Rogan say this, and I don't know. I guess I'm doing ivermectin shit. Okay, fine. Then let's talk about it. But when you're like, you believe in big pharma? Really? You fucking sheep fuck. Let me tell you how the world really works and understand all this bullshit. And it's like, okay, bitch, drop the fucking insulin then, you fat fuck. How many, you talk about doctor-patient relationship? You look like you're the fucking plastic surgeon dude that's working on your face every 2 weeks. Like, what the fuck? This woman has more work done on her face than probably most people have surgeries in their entire fucking life. Like, what are you talking about? You can't be smug and stupid at the same time. It's too much. If you want to be smug and smart, fine. If you want to be dumb and humble, fine, but not smug hearted. It's too much for me. I can't communicate with those people. I can't do it. Not to dox myself, but I work in healthcare, in a healthcare adjacent industry, treating people. And so many people I treat tell me about the insane shit they believe, but I still love helping them. It's sad. Well, too late. You're doxxed now, because now everybody in chat knows that you work in a healthcare adjacent industry. Good luck.
Pleasure.
Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. So talk to me. How do you feel about the sabotaging of the doctor-patient relationship by the MAHA movement?
I don't agree with it. I don't think that MAHA is sabotaging the relationship. As a matter of fact, I think it's cultivating confidence in patients to be able to speak to their doctors because it's providing education in a way that has never been there before.
These are the sovereign citizens of fucking patient treatment. Oh my God. Actually, I know everything. And let me tell you, Dr. Blah, 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 blah.
And I know you were talking about research. And so you're a busy doctor. Do you have time to do research?
When you say do research, do you mean actually do clinical trials myself?
Follow all of the data.
Sure.
You do. So
Yeah.
you, in addition to a week-long log of patients, you make time to read all of the material and all of the data about...
More than you, bitch! You should just ask, oh, I'm sorry, tell me one study that I haven't read recently. Why don't you inform me? Give me one that you've read, motherfucker. You got all this fucking free time. Tell me, right? It's not like this shit is my job or something. Tell me. Although, funnily enough, you can actually, I think, criticize doctors sometimes for not being up to date on the latest research. I think doctors have probably one of the same follies that all humans have, where you do a thing and it works for you personally or your patients personally, and you maybe over-index on that a little bit. Doctors, I think, have this issue a bit, which is a fair-ish criticism. But I guarantee you the average doctor reads a lot more actual research than the average fucking Joe Rogan listener.
Do you want me to be honest?
Yes.
Sometimes I do it in the room with the patient.
Okay,
Because I'm
great.
family medicine, so like a lot of different
Awesome.
conditions come. So absolutely
Well,
important.
you're very rare.
Well, I appreciate that, but let me ask you a question
Yeah.
so we can get off.
He's doing the good liberal thing that I used to do, the good doctor thing. Yeah, I'm rare. I'm one of the good doctors. No, motherfucker. Like,
To perhaps a better talking point. Secretary Kennedy,
Yes.
in the last few months, went on a podcast and basically defamed all doctors in the United States by saying doctors are just interested in profit and keeping patients sick. Hearing that line, as a patient yourself, do you feel that your doctor is in your best interest, is working in your best interest? And do you have more trust in your doctor after hearing that line?
So I have enormous respect for Bobby Kennedy. I feel like he's educated and informed.
Oh, that's another red flag. When somebody calls him Bobby, that's also that's fine.
And does the research on the data and has worked on cases that he's become familiarized with medical data. So I believe
my
that when he
God.
speaks, he comes from a place of informed
So you
knowledge.
agree that
So
doctors
I'm
are-
going to answer that as well. So when I go to my doctor
typically my doctor,
Got him.
I don't have, thank goodness, I don't have a lot of health issues, but when I have, my doctor wants to move me to medication, which always makes me think that in med school, that doctors are trained to find a medicalized solution rather than an alternative solution that empowers my own immune system and my own body.
Okay.
And so when I go in to talk to my doctor will look at me and be like, okay, you don't want any of that. And I'd be like, no. I
Give me an example. Ask her for an example. What are you talking about exactly?
want to have a different conversation. And MAHA provides that because it's talking about removing dyes. And I'm also a parent. So for me, there's things that involve children that I so appreciate MAHA presenting, because before there wasn't a choice. Doctors
What choice did you not have? What are you talking about?
thought of parents and patients as kind of dumb.
I agree that 20, 30 years ago, that was absolutely the education.
Yes,
Wait.
doctors thought of parents and patients as kind of dumb.
I agree that 20, 30 years ago, that was absolutely the
It don't treat them dumb, but
education.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it still can exist.
Yeah.
like in every other area of life, you acknowledge that you go to somebody else because they're more expertise than you are. I don't go to my car repair shop and argue with them about the fucking whatever bullshit. I don't even know what the analogy would be there. But if I'm taking it to them, it's because I need them to do the shit, right? I don't go to the fucking... I wouldn't get like a personal trainer at a gym and argue with him over my schedule or whatever routines he wants to give me. Or you wouldn't go to any other area and argue with the person that you're paying for their service here. You would just do it yourself at that point. Why are you going to the doctor? You know more than your doctor, bitch. And then fucking just stay home and fix yourself. Why waste somebody else's slot or waste that guy's time or waste anybody's time? Just do the shit yourself then. Why go to the doctor? You know so much more then.
Doctors are older, so that's true. I'd love for you if you can answer that question. Like by hearing Secretary Kennedy say that doctors are just interested in keeping you sick, does that improve your relationship with your doctor or not?
I would have to hear the context.
That's the
Because-
context.
What is the context? Oh.
But I mean like the whole thing, because one thing that I've experienced a lot with Bobby is that people get sound bites and they don't hear the entire interview and the entire dialogue, and then they piecemeal it and then they go, that man.
Yeah,
And-
people do that with things.
Right,
What's
so-
a way that he could have been saying that in a genuine way?
Well, in a genuine way, I think he was, I can't speak for him.
Sure.
But my experience of Bobby is that he is a genuine,
But I can speak for all doctors when I say they're greedy and they're sellouts to the pharmaceutical, to big pharma. Okay.
compassionate, kind, caring human. And he takes his work very seriously. And his commitment to ending chronic health disease and making sure children are healthy and adults are healthy is very, very important to him. So, but if I heard that, I probably would have been like, I want to understand more about where he is coming from, because it doesn't line up for me that he would just generalize that all doctors are doing that. But in context, he might have been referring to something.
So if one of the participants here that are surrounding us came up to me after the show and said that you're a liar and everything you say is untrue, that perhaps could be said in a nice way?
Oh, well, I would probably think that maybe there's something going
Or
on
called
for
you a
that
bad
person.
mother?
I've been
Wouldn't
called
that
a lot
hurt?
of things.
But wouldn't that hurt?
It would make me think for a moment, like, do you know me? Do you know what I do? Do you know how I am? Do you know my professionalism?
That's how I feel as a doctor when Secretary Kennedy says that too. He says we're interested in keeping people sick for profit. I don't even take a salary to work as a doctor anymore.
Right.
The YouTube stuff is so successful. I really am showing up for my patients pro bono because I want to help.
Okay, wait, that's weird. Wait, can he do that? If you were like an influencer doctor guy, could you work at a hospital for free? I feel like there's got to be some ethics thing that prohibits, unless he's got like a private practice, then maybe he can do it or whatever.
I'm here pro bono.
Right.
I flew here myself for free because I want to give you the best information. And you said Secretary Kennedy is well researched.
Yes.
He goes on the podiums and he says inaccuracies all the time. And look, everyone's allowed to make mistakes. I'm not about gotchas. I'm not that
Right,
guy.
right.
But when you
Does he have a private practice?
say back in the day, kids who had diabetes almost never existed, and now 1 in 3 kids have diabetes.
He said community medical center. Oh, so he might be volunteering at like a clinic. So House doesn't have to do his clinic hours and can diagnose rare diseases. Yes.
It's a lie. 1 in 300 kids have diabetes. So like, how much do I as a YouTuber, have to fact check Secretary Kennedy, the director,
what?
kids have diabetes, who had diabetes. Look, everyone's allowed to make mistakes. I'm not about gotchas. I'm not that
Right,
guy.
right.
But when you say back in the day, kids who had diabetes almost never existed, and now 1 in 3 kids have diabetes, it's a
Did he say, he said something crazy about this. I don't remember exactly. 1 in 3, 1 in 3 kids. Was it that bad? Was he that extreme about it?
lie. 1 in 300 kids have diabetes. So like, how much do I as a YouTuber, have to fact check Secretary Kennedy, the director of Health and Human Services, before he comes out and says, I messed up. I need to tell you the truth and I'm getting the numbers wrong so often. When does that happen?
That's a really good point. I don't know. I guess we'd have to go back also to during COVID when they made these really outrageous statements that weren't true. Either go back because there have been mistakes, and if you brought
I have
that
multiple
to him,
videos on my
Oh
YouTube
my
channel, including podcasts, where we
God.
talk about every mistake we made, I
Right.
made during the pandemic. Because ultimately, it's about trying to figure out how to do better, not to.
We need different words. We need a different word than mistake. Because we're talking about different things. Like I'm trying to think of an example. Like if some big like fucking coder software guy or whatever is like, it has like some fucking code that works or whatever, and you're like, do you know how this works? And the guy's like, I have no idea how that works. When he says, I have no idea how that works, that means a much different thing than like a boomer looking at a computer who doesn't know the difference between the monitor and the computer tower when he says, I don't know how that works, right? These mean totally different things when people say them. Or like sometimes in medicine, you know, when we say like, oh, for exercise, you know, we don't actually know why, or we don't actually know much about like why you gain more muscle when you hypertension, blah, 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 right? Well, they might say that, or hypertrophy, whatever. They might say that like you don't know, but like they're talking like at a very, 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 very granular level. They don't know. It's not just like this broad statement of whatever. It's annoying because like RFK Jr. or Joe, you know, shit for brains Rogan or any of these other fucking retards will just say random things. And they'll be wrong and be like, oh, I made a mistake. And they'll act like that's the same thing as like, you know, the Lancet publishing a retraction, or the New England Journal of Medicine or whatever, like are publishing things like, oh, well, they made a mistake, so they retracted it. No, it's a far more rigorous process. We're talking about something completely different here. I hate the similarity in words here. Oh, well, Fauci made mistakes. Well, RFK Jr. made mistakes. I guess we all make mistakes.
About every mistake we made, I made during the pandemic, because ultimately it's about trying to figure out how to do better, not to score political points.
You've been voted out. Please return to your seat.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Hi, nice to meet you, sir.
Pleasure.
So, yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
I just wanna make sure I got your
So I think to start this off, there's actually some truth to what he said. So yeah,
So
as of
who
right,
said- I said
what
what
Kennedy
he said.
said.
Okay.
So the truth is that after the year 2000, doctors say that 1 in 3 children will actually develop diabetes in their lifetime. So there's actually so often a lot more truth to what Kennedy says than what you give him. And
What? 1 in 3 children will develop diabetes. Well, why say children at that point? I guess it depends on the context of that statement, but just say 1 in 3 people will get diabetes. No? Okay.
and I know that
So
you're
he
not
just
trying-
said it inaccurately? You mean like, because he said, this is a quote unquote, that currently 1 in 3 children have diabetes.
I mean, it could have been that maybe the wording was wrong, but the truth is that if you were born after the year 2000, 1 in 3 people are going to develop diabetes
As a
in their life.
How do you know that? Can you see the future, bitch? Got him.
Yes. And so I think so often what we can do with Kennedy is we can still paint him in bad faith, even if that's not our intention. And I think one of the things that you said actually was that Kennedy said that half of the people in China have diabetes, right? And I remember in this video you said, no, it's actually 13% of people. I'm like, total fact check. Well, the truth is that while 13% of people in China do have diabetes, the truth is that making up the rest of that 50% margin are actually people that right now already have pre-diabetes. And from 2005 to 2023, there has been a 50% increase in the number of people with diabetes in the country of China.
So what you're saying
Does that even make sense? That 13% would have full-blown diabetes, but 50% more of the population, 50 points more, would be pre-diabetic? I feel like your numbers of actual diabetics would be very high at that point. But then also, if you say that the number of diabetics increased by 50% over the next whatever couple years or decades or whatever, that's still 13%. A 50% increase from 13% is 13 and 6.5 is 19.5%. It's still nowhere near that 50% number. But maybe he misspoke on that. Maybe he meant points instead of percentage. I don't know.
50% increase in the number of people with diabetes in the country of China.
So what you're saying is he gets it wrong, but the intention.
What does pre-diabetic mean? Where's the guy? Where are my doctors at? I think pre-diabetic is a real thing. Is that when they only need metformin and they don't need exogenous insulin yet? I could be wrong on that. I feel we used to have pre-hypertensive for people that didn't have high blood pressure yet. Although I think we've gotten rid of pre-hypertension now, and we just call it hypertension. But I think there's still a pre-diabetic category. Prediabetes is a high A1C from 5.9 to 6.4. Okay.
Is good.
Well, I mean, when you
or
are
sort of right.
Sorry, when you're in the public eye for years and years and years,
and diabetes is 6.5 A1C.
There's a good shot that you're going to misword something that says.
Sure. Did he come out and correct himself when he did that?
Well, in many cases, he has come out and correct himself. I mean, the truth is.
What cases are those?
Okay, so specifically the case in Tylenol. I mean, he came back and he said there is not enough scientific evidence to say that Tylenol causes autism.
Like, the thing that upsets me when people do shit like this is people will literally criminalize Fauci because he made one statement about masks that at this point, I don't even know he actually fucking made the statement they say he did. And that's enough to disregard his fucking 97 years of everything else he's done in his life. That one wrong statement. It's not like RFK Jr. just came out and said, oh, guys, maybe Tylenol causes autism, LOL. He did multiple press conferences on it. They promoted some bullshit fucking study on it. I think they might have even changed the CDC guidelines, maybe, on whether or not women should take Tylenol. I feel like they were putting it on the fucking website. Like, how can you say he came out and he said he was wrong? There's not enough research to support this. That's fine. You're fucking gone. You're fired at that point, you fucking retard. This guy had so much certainty behind this position that he was doing press conferences, convinced the president, had fucking Dr. Oz, all these motherfuckers on TV talking about it and changed the guidelines on the fucking CDC or FDA or whatever bullshit site. They were promoting other drugs about it. How can you come out after and say, oh, sorry, looks like I was wrong, LOL? Why not maybe shut the fuck up for like 2 months until you do a little bit more research then, if you are truly convinced that no research has been done on it, which was also wrong and a fucking lie.
So doesn't that concern you as a person who lives in the United States, that there's a press conference, there's a president, Health and Human Services Secretary, the director of CMS, Dr. Oz, and they're telling you, even Dr. Makari, who runs FDA, goes on the weeknight shows on Fox and says there's a causal relationship between Tylenol and autism. This is quote unquote, I'm not twisting words. This is what was said. And then 2 weeks later, they go, nah, never mind. Doesn't that upset you in the same way that we flip-flopped back in COVID days? I'm curious why it changes.
And it shouldn't even be the same. It should be way worse. And he's about to make an excuse. It's okay. All my guns are unloaded right now. I'm safe. Okay. Okay. We can do this. He's about to say the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my entire life. What could he he's not going to say, well, at least they admitted they were wrong. No, it's going to be even dumber than that.
So here's the thing you have to understand, and I know you know this, and the truth is that science is a constant practice, it's a constant thing.
Oh, he's doing the thing this is what I said before, but I'm like, we have to have a different word besides mistake, right? Oh, well, they were doing science, and then they changed their mind. And, you know, journalists or scientific journals sometimes publish retractions that they change their mind. It's the same. It's not the same thing. You retarded fuck.
And so medicine specifically is also constant in itself. The thing is, if something is a fact, then it will be able to be refuted, then it will stand no matter what. Whenever
unless you learn something new, and maybe that will change the fact.
But if we have scientific facts established and they are in fact true, then they will simply stand. And that's the thing. The thing that I appreciate about Kennedy is he understands that science at the highest levels is a constant debate. And so when you see a study come out that contradicts the status quo, to say that and to say, okay, Americans, we have found that, you know, whatever could do whatever, contrary to what's believed, specifically in the Tylenol situation, it's good that he presented that we found this, and then he actually retracted that 2 weeks later, I believe.
A lot of it is also, we need to form a Sharia law that beats the shit out of people for saying shit that they have no fucking concept about. Like, we should have like Sharia enforcers. They can walk around with like long black trench coats, but like nerd fucking glasses or whatever, and pocket protectors. And when they hear somebody say some random shit like, oh, like I think blah, 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 like, they stop by and like, oh, you just said this? Just curious. What is a null hypothesis? Or just curious, what are the 3 branches? And if you don't know the answer, they beat the shit out of you. And then they move on. They don't have to like kill you or like break the bone or anything, but they beat the shit out of you a little bit. And then people know like, oh shit, I gotta watch out. The fucking enforcers are here. You know, I can't talk some bullshit right now. I've said all this before. For you to think that a new study, a singular study can come out and establish not even to say this is good for future research or we should build on this with more research, but to establish a causal link between one of the most common medications on the planet and one of the most common conditions on the planet, being fucking pregnant, with one of the most least understood diseases on the planet, autism. Like, there are so many fucking alarms. That's the wrong one. I meant this one. That should be going off in your head to know that this is immediately a fucking bullshit statement. Like, in order for you to believe this, you have no scientific literacy. You can't. You just have no scientific literacy. This is the equivalent of a person trying to convince you that that if you're really, really quick at riding your bicycle, that you can outrun or outbike cars. It's just the only way somebody can say this is that they're just so behind in the conversation. The Sharia enforcers need to show up and whip some ass.
We have found that, you know, whatever could do whatever, contrary to what's believed, specifically in the Tylenol situation. It's good that he presented that we found this, and then he actually retracted that 2 weeks later, I believe. So I think that it's very, very important to say, if we do find something, and there's scientific evidence for something that does go against the grain, to come out there and say that you have that evidence.
Yeah, so this is pretty interesting what you're pointing out. I would say a year before this press conference, I had a video lined up to talk about the relationship between Tylenol and autism in those who are pregnant. So like I literally was making a video on that subject.
Okay.
And just because of production delays and such, we didn't get a chance to put it out. So in the medical community, we were already understanding that there is a potential tie there, an association. We knew that there wasn't a causal link to prove that definitely.
Right, because it's not even widely agreed as of today what causes autism. Right, but then again, I think that we should constantly be looking into these things a little bit deeper than we do.
We are, you fucking and I hate this too. We're like, well, like when people say this, wouldn't it be good if we did research on the side effects of medication? Like, wow, bro. I'm sorry. Do you want the Nobel Peace Prize now? Or do you want to wait until next year when you discover some amazing shit? Like, shouldn't we researchers maybe like correct for socioeconomic status? Like, oh my God. Oh, holy shit. When the fuck did Einstein get reincarnated as this fucking retard?
Well, there's a problem here because 70%
Like the research he's quoting wasn't done the week he presented it. Do you know why it was presented this September when he presented it?
So the research wasn't done in September of 2025.
Yeah, it was done. It was done a long period before that. There was multiple research because you said we need to look into it.
So you said that there's multiple
research
articles.
articles.
You said there's multiple of them.
Yeah.
So I think the reason he probably shared it is because there were multiple of them. Then he's like, it actually posed a red flag in the situation.
No, do you want me to be honest and tell you why he shared it?
Please, sorry. So the research wasn't done in September of 2025.
Yeah, it was done. It was done a long period before that. There was multiple research because you said we need to look into it.
So you said that there's multiple
research
articles.
articles.
You said there's multiple of them.
Yeah.
So I think the reason he probably shared it is because there were multiple of them. Then he's like, it actually posed a red flag in the situation.
No, do you want me to be honest and tell you why he shared it? Because at the beginning of his time and his tenure, he promised that by September we'd find.
And that should have been the red flag right there. You're literally, it's so crazy because people know, or at least they hear the words, that like, oh, you shouldn't start with a conclusion and then search for the evidence, right? Like everybody knows that phrase or that fallacy or whatever, but this administration will do it in real time. Whether we're talking about Kash Patel or Nancy Mace talk about how the person that killed Charlie Kirk was an Antifa fascist soldier or whatever, trans shooter, before we even knew anything at all about the shooter. Or where RFK Jr. saying we're going to know what causes autism in 3 or 4 fucking months. Like, how could you trust him saying in 3 or 4 months anything? Because he has to find some reason now, even if he doesn't find it. Like, Dr. Mike should just say, if that's all it takes, then why don't we just get like Mr. Doctor to come out and say, we're going to have the solution to all cancer in 6 months? If that's all we need to do, that's what we should have just done in the first place, right? Like, are they stupid? Why not just say, we're going to find the solution in 6 months and then you'll always have an answer?
The cause of autism.
Oh, shit. It's because they want people to be sick. My bad. I forgot that.
Because at the beginning of his time and his tenure, he promised that by September we'd find the cause of autism. And because he did not find it, because we've been looking for it, we want to help people. I want to find the cause of autism. I'm being honest with you. I wish I could help my patients.
Because I have only 7 people around me today instead of 15. Just kidding.
Flip the switch really fast.
No, but I really want to I want to show you how.
Wait, is he crying? Wait, I'm so sorry. Wait, what?
Research because you said we need to look into it.
So you said that there's multiple
research
articles.
articles.
You said there's multiple of them.
Yeah.
So I think the reason he probably shared it is because there were multiple of them. Then he's like, it actually posed a red flag in the situation.
No, do you want me to be honest and tell you why he shared it? Because at the beginning of his time and his tenure, he promised that by September we'd find the cause of autism. I'm being honest with you. I wish I could help my patients.
Flip the switch really fast.
No, but I really want to I want to show you how passionate I am because when Secretary Kennedy raised his voice, people see his passion.
Okay.
And we in healthcare don't have the same passion. So I want to show you my passion. We want to find it, and we haven't found it. And when he presents to you a fake link because he knows it doesn't exist, why are you not mad at him like we are mad at him?
Sir,
Answer that question.
I don't know how you can say that today everyday Americans should be trusting research that's put out.
Sir, oh, he was getting ready to virtue signal. That's why he's getting the tear. He's pre-alting. He's pre-alting. So that he can get ready to do this, sir. I don't know how you can say you trust research today when researchers fucking fed us the fucking facts, which killed my whole fucking family.
Like we are mad at him.
Sir,
Answer that question.
I don't know how you can say that today everyday Americans should be trusting research that's put out because there was a recent study that was done that said 70% of studies that are put out have a conflict of interest, the majority of which are for undisclosed amounts, and the average amount that is known is $27,000 per.
Researchers wish they were getting that much money. That 70% of researchers are on average getting $27,000 fucking dollars for the fucking random fucking research they publish. They wish they got even a tenth of that. But that's the funniest thing I've heard in my entire fucking life.
So should we throw out all research? Why are you trusting
that? Like, how could you not immediately know? You don't know a single person that does scientific research your entire life if you believe that. A single person that believes something's so fucking retarded.
Do you know if there's a conflict of interest with the town research?
70%.
I'm not arguing with you. I agree conflict of research
flip the switch so fast and then it's like,
but I agree with you. No,
conflict of interest isn't necessarily a bad thing. It just needs to be disclosed. Sometimes it's impossible to get rid of all conflict of interest. For instance, people always say this about pharmaceuticals. Well, didn't they pay for their own trials? Yeah, of course they did. Who the fuck else is going to pay for it? Are you going to pay for Bayer or for fucking Pfizer doing their own medical fucking trial? Why the fuck would somebody else pay for their trials? It's fucking retarded. Of course they're paying for their own, but you disclose that. The researchers, I imagine, have to disclose that this is being paid for by the company that's sponsoring the research. That's why peer review exists, is to go over the data, to go over the facts and figures, and maybe to even have other people try to replicate parts of it or whatever, explain it, whatever, right? Yeah, conflict of interest in and of itself, especially if it's disclosed, which, by the way, no one in this administration does. RFK Jr. or Trump or anybody else, right? As long as it's disclosed, at least you're aware of it. You can deal with it at that point.
Intense because I'm
I'm
advocating
glad we
for
agree on
patients,
that.
not
So
because I'm mad at you.
Well, so am I. And the thing is that what's known is when you come in, and obviously you can't directly receive money from Big Pharma. However,
Well, you can.
You can. It's in kickbacks and it's also in funding.
Well, you can get paid to speak at conferences, promote certain medications. That's
Right,
absolutely
and then
doable.
it's shown that the majority in family practice and cardiology, every specialty, the majority of physicians have received
Yeah.
conflict of interest payments. They've been paid
Sure.
off by Big Pharma, and that's to be said.
How do you
is
know that?
It's 75. I saw the statistic. I don't
Well,
have the
no,
source.
I'll
He doesn't know it from any. Oh, it's got to be mean time. It should be like, no, you know what? Jubilee, pause the timer. Get your fucking phone out and look it up, motherfucker. So let's see what you're gonna look at. Because what you're gonna bring up is you're gonna bring up some fucking tweet by like Hibernation Dad Bear 69 MAGA XXX, whose account is located in America, but it's also on a VPN, so it's kind of weird, who has 2 million fucking followers that's tweeting out the most ridiculous fucking shit all the fucking time. Okay? Like, show me where you found this piece of information from. I want to know so bad. Remember when we did this with the Misfit Patriot guy in real time? Let's look it up, dude. Let's do it. Why not?
help you.
I mean,
I agree.
We could talk
It's
about
disclosed.
this after.
It's disclosed.
Right. These things have to be disclosed. But the thing is that something.
Do you know what that law is called?
Something as much as as little as $20 actually can change the prescription given by a doctor. And I think this is a major problem. And you guys have broken trust with American citizens.
So look, it needs to be disclosed. Money can create conflict. Agree with you totally. I don't disagree with the sentence you said.
So should we remove it?
Remove what?
So
conflict of interest.
should we not allow conflict
Wait,
of interest?
let me just catch up on your
All
point.
right.
I agree that conflict of interest can create bias. I agree that pharmaceutical companies pay doctors and it could bias them.
They're on the same team. This is
Yes.
good.
Does Secretary Kennedy make money?
Absolutely.
Has he been paid hundreds of thousands of dollars by law firms to pursue vaccine claims?
These are because these
why
are
does
lawsuits,
that not bias
These are
him?
lawsuits that he himself
Well,
has gone
why
after.
does-
Bro, like, this is like, it's not the same game that we play. Do you see how quickly this, like, these guys will give you like a 10-minute speech about how gay marriage needs to be made illegal immediately and that it's actually corroding our fucking society, and then will be on their knees getting Eiffel Towered by 2 fucking Trump cabinet members in 2 minutes afterwards. It's unbelievable how quickly they will go from offense to defense on the exact same fucking topic. Is he about to give me a whole spiel on why RFK Jr. actually shouldn't have to disclose any conflict of interest for literally fucking anything ever? Or
why doesn't it bias him? Why, when he gets paid by Children's Health Defense, why does that not bias him? Why are you looking at bias only in one direction?
So you kind of have a problem here, and you're just assuming that his intention is bad.
I'm not.
Right.
I'm not. I'm asking why
So
you're
if he is
choosing
setting
to
up-
say bias is
so
bad here, but not here.
If he is, okay, if he's
I'm
the one-
agreeing with you on your side. Why are you disagreeing with me with bias with him receiving?
Well,
payments? Do you know how much money he's gotten
talk.
paid by pharmaceutical companies?
Give me the figure.
No, you won't know because he's not a doctor. He doesn't have to disclose it.
what's up? What do you want? Food chops.
I just wanted to say hi.
Okay, hi.
What does this have to do with him receiving?
Because the reason you know doctors do it is because we disclose it to try and reduce bias. He doesn't have to. Huberman does ads. You know who Andrew Huberman
Absolutely.
is? A very
Absolutely. I've seen every episode. I've watched every single episode of Huberman. You better not. Is it Andrew Huberman? It's Andrew Huberman, right? Something Huberman. I've seen them all. Yes, of course. Absolutely. I know who that is.
popular doctor. He does ads for Athletic Greens all the time. Do you know how much he gets paid? No.
Nope.
He doesn't have to disclose it. Isn't there bias there?
So there's a difference between an influencer and a physician
He's not
that is
an
direct.
influencer. He has
I'm talking about Andrew.
PhD.
Andrew is an influencer, right? Then somebody that's your family.
Also, notice what they're doing, right? They're doing the same thing. People just do this for everybody. The ethical constraints aren't doctors, not the legal ethical ones, but like they need to be more moral. Don't do any conflict of interest, even if it's within the law. Even if you do the disclosure, I don't care. You shouldn't do it because it's morally wrong. But then when it comes to their side, for Andrew and all these other people who, by the way, are far more influential than any individual doctor, maybe even more than all doctors, if we look at how people feel about like vaccines and fucking ivermectin. But now when it comes to the influencer side of things, well, they don't have to disclose anything. They're just little YouTuber. I'm just a girl, LOL. I'm just a YouTuber, LOL. I don't know. What should I have to disclose?
Practice doctor that's prescribing you
What
the
about the
medicine
Secretary
directly.
of Health and Human Services?
So here's the
He's
thing.
getting money. How is that
He has
impacting
gotten
his
money
decisions?
in the past. He doesn't take payments anymore. He can't. And
Do you know who's taking payments on his behalf?
You're probably gonna say his wife.
His son.
Okay, so here's the thing about
But
that.
isn't this all a problem
Most
for
of
you?
these are cases that he himself has fought. He himself has gotten into the court, and he himself has won, and then he receives payments from that.
But like, you're literally fighting in court is like the strongest time you're advocating for a particular thing. How could there not be a conflict of interest there? And you can, by the way, just because you represented a side of court or whatever, like I give all the same arguments I would give for doctors. Well, maybe he genuinely believed that thing, which is fine. But like, if you're going to sit here and say you can immediately discredit all doctors' opinions because of conflict of interest, how the fuck are you going to get across somebody making the same accusation about RFK Jr.?
all a problem
Most
for
of
you.
these are cases that he himself has fought, he himself has gotten into the court, and he himself has won, and then he receives payments from that.
Don't you feel that you're being unfair by saying bias on one side but not bias on the other side when it's the same scenario?
Look, it's the thing is that it's two different things, right? You're talking about every doctor in America, and 70% of them are paid off, versus this guy
Paid off.
who's been winning lawsuits, and this is mainly because he found something in the environment and then it gets taken out, specifically chemicals or whatever it is.
Specifically, chemicals. Specifically, he got shit taken out of the vaccine. Specifically, chemicals.
So I think these are two different things. And I think that in today's America, we're in a moment where we need reform rather than just going along.
I agree.
So I think we agree on so
He's
much.
not making the reform.
Pause.
Yeah.
We're out of time. We're out of time.
What do you agree on?
appreciate it. I
Oh,
appreciate
man.
that.
They believe that he should be the president because they believe that his agenda of mass deportation were going to help make America safe again.
So I asked, name one piece of evidence in the case that you dispute. And
Holy shit, the chess clock? The chess clock?
you couldn't do so.
I just answered the question. You just don't like how I answered the question. I'm sorry about that.
So you didn't answer the question. You didn't provide a specific example. It sounds like the American people didn't do research on the case, yet they still were willing to vote for Donald Trump.
Welcome to Face Off, where two people debate 4 claims. 1 clock, no interruptions.
My next surrounded claim is that Big Pharma is more trustworthy than Big Supplement.
True! Holy, who gave him the based claims to defend? Who gave him the absolutely fucking based claims?
Hello.
Mike, how are
Love
you?
the suit.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
It's a pleasure to be with you today. I just wanted to say it's really unfortunate that
This guy looks like a supplement salesman.
you're feeling that the Maha movement is getting in the way of the relationship you're having with your patients. I think what we really need to be talking about is public trust. And the public is losing trust in our government because it
Mike is kind of like NRE. They feel like they can bring these retards back to America. What is NRE? Do you mean NSE?
is being captured by special interests like Big Pharma. And I say that because, like FDA, is funded about 50% or more from fees that are paid to it by the very drug companies that they are approving. So there's a little bit of a conflict of interest there.
Mm-hmm.
And also, Big Pharma spends about $20 billion a year.
Conflict of interest. Well, the FDA is not like a privately run company. They're not trying to return money to shareholders. They're not. Like, if you pay a fee to a thing, does that necessarily count? I don't know if I would consider that necessarily a conflict of interest there, but...
In advertising. $7 billion of which is direct to consumer. And we
Whoa.
see all of these ads on TV. You know the ones I'm talking about.
Absolutely, with the pretty butterflies,
They're going
people
through
in
fields
fields.
and they're happy and singing songs.
Us in New Zealand, right?
Yeah. And
By the way, if you want to ban those things, you know what you need? Regulation.
at the end, really, really quickly, it's all about like, it could be an antidepressant medication. And at the end, it's like really, really fast, may cause explosive diarrhea, spontaneous combustion, and even suicidal thoughts.
LOL.
You know? Big Pharma, like any special interest, has captured our government. And when it's captured our government on so many levels, not just the 3-letter agencies, but it's out in the open how much they're giving to our electeds. And so they are literally putting the profits of Big Pharma over people and our health.
Interesting. There's parts of that I agree with and parts that I disagree with. If you'd like to hear what I agree with is that pharmaceutical companies are absolutely interested in profits. This is a for-profit system.
Right.
There's a capitalist nation. In fact, if you look at our food supply, it's primarily focused on profits instead of trying to keep us healthy. That's pretty much always been the case within the last 50 years or so. When it comes to pharma versus supplements, which is kind of what we were discussing here, because some people say...
Bro, I'm sorry, hold on real quick. Just because both of these guys are playing such a game, they're both so careful with how they speak. It's so fucking funny. Candace Owens says, the shooting that Tim Pool survived in December of 2022 was committed by his brother. By the way, his brother was the one who fired the weapon on his property. He cannot deny this fact. It sounds like Tim Pool said like he survived some shooting or whatever, but it was actually just his brother shooting a gun. So Tim Pool responds saying that she lied. But what does he say? He says, the vile witch is now claiming my own brother tried to shoot me. This is an absolute lie. Candace is as vile as they come. So does that mean, do you know what this means? Sorry, so actually I know now the truth of this after seeing how he lies about it. His brother was the one that shot the gun in December of 2022. And I know that.
Wasn't it him?
Exactly. So it either was reckless, negligent or whatever on property or something else, but that's 100% what happened. Because if his brother didn't shoot the gun at all, then he would have said that. But because he says, she said my own brother tried to shoot me, 100% he's the one who shot the gun. 100%.
You'd just be like, what the fuck are you talking about, Gordon?
Yeah.
I don't even have a brother.
She didn't say he tried to shoot you. She said it was your brother who had run off from security after breaking into your place. If it wasn't Chris and he wasn't involved, just say that as a fact. Why twist what she said? My brother never ran from security and literally works here and runs a gaming channel for our members. She is lying to you, bro. Holy fuck, right? So his brother was
literally doesn't deny it. Again, it could have been a misfire. I mean, but he would just say that. I would think. So fucking retarded.
Hold on.
Oh, he's cooking up a banger.
It's not a banger. I'm just
oh, it's gonna be a banger.
Because I like tweet his mean shit, so I should tweet more like substantive stuff, I guess.
Ew. Why? Oh no, he's turning soy, chat.
Shut up.
We have to be nice to everyone now. Beta male. Tell Tim Pool, say, I'm just sad that your brother shot and it didn't hit you in the head.
Jesus.
Boom.
Ba, 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 ba.
All right, what'd you tweet?
Just soy shit. Because I'm soy. I am soy. Wait! Mootin.
Yeah.
Do you know what's happening in Phoenix?
You and Mockler, or?
Yeah, you got it.
Hanging out?
You got it. You got it. Make sure that if you want to go, you buy tickets here. Only 3 left. They just opened up 3 more seats. There's only 3 left. There you go.
I can't afford it.
Shut up.
I don't want to take a pharmaceutical. I'd rather go the natural approach. That is said a lot in terms of the internet. And I think that there's 2 issues with it. One is that there's this natural fallacy, that just because something is natural means it's safe, and just because something is for profit means it's evil. And that's weird to me because things that are natural can be absolutely dangerous. So like cyanide, arsenic, these are natural phenomena, and they're absolutely dangerous.
Absolutely.
And things that are for profit, like supplement companies, can be sometimes beneficial. Like if someone has a vitamin D deficiency, I would absolutely tell them to take a vitamin D supplement. The issue is, do you know how big the pharmaceutical industry is in the United States for billions of dollars? You don't just say no.
How many billions of dollars they make?
Yeah.
I don't know. Off the top of my
$600
head.
billion. Crazy sum, right? Do you know how big the Global Wellness Institute says the wellness industry is in the United States?
It's probably bigger than that.
2 trillion.
Damn.
So why are you only interested in conflicts of interest for pharma when the supplement wellness industry is 3-4x? I'm not great at math off the cuff. So I'm just curious on that specific point.
You know, it's interesting because I don't disagree that either. I think, again, going back to my point about eroding the public trust, I think what's happening.
And as soon as he starts to respond, these fuckers want to vote him off.
With what I know about Big Pharma is that
well,
they
at least
often
he got
have board
Dr.
members
Mike.
that sit on boards of the big media like Fox and CNN,
Sure.
but they also sit on the board of the Big Pharma. And so it's that we're worried about because those things are really causing more complications. Like you're taking one big pharmaceutical pill and it's causing 5 other problems and it becomes a sick care system. I can elect to take those other non-FDA approved drugs, and I'm choosing that. But I'm being told by my doctors who are also, being pushed by Big Pharma to push these options on us. So it's more of a choice for.
Are they forcing you to take those medications?
I mean, when you go to a doctor and you're trying to figure out, and you're constantly being bamboozled by you should take this and that and the third, you feel like that's your only option because we're kind of being programmed that we have to go in that direction.
What happens when you walk into a pharmacy and you walk down the vitamin aisle? What are the words that you see thrown at you?
Oh, like help sleeping or
health,
energy.
energy.
Sure.
What proof do they have to submit in order to sell their supplements?
I would guess nothing.
Me and you, right now, can take whatever supplement we want.
Yeah, it's our choice.
Bottle it up right here. No. Bottle it up right here
Right.
on this table
And market
in
it.
capsules. Market it. Put it in a pharmacy if it sells well, especially if you have lots of followers, and make millions of dollars.
Sure, you could, but it's still my personal choice as a consumer, and I think it goes back to.
And it's still your personal choice to take pharmaceuticals. No one's forcing you to take pharmaceuticals.
Yes, absolutely, that's true.
But pharmaceuticals at least have to submit something to prove that they work, that they have some safety profile. But what me and you created today, no one has to prove anything. And they also have had instances where they've led people to have liver failure, death. They've been sued by the FDA. There's been threatening letters. Consumer Labs goes and tests what's in these supplements and finds out what's on the labels not actually in the pill. Why don't you have an interest in that?
Well, I don't think the doctors are pushing that. If I go to my doctor, they're not pushing all those supplements and everything
Yeah,
like
the
that.
influencers are. Don't you think that's a bigger problem when it's 2 trillion versus 600 billion?
Okay, pause.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Whoa!
Hello,
Are they allowed to
pleasure.
go twice in a row?
I don't know. Probably not.
Nice to meet you, Heidi.
Nice to meet you too. So we're talking supplements.
Supplements versus pharma.
Okay. What I heard in the last debate is that you feel like doctors don't have the responsibility to teach their patients about the supplements. Like if I went to the doctor and I said, "Hey, I heard that magnesium can really help me with cramps," you know,
Okay.
and the doctor would educate me on that, right? Especially if I asked a question.
Sure, they
But if I
absolutely
went
should.
into the doctor and said, "Listen, I am suffering from these leg cramps that are excruciating. I am screaming into the air at night, and my neighbors are scared of me.
From like a restless
what
leg
can I
syndrome
do?"
situation.
Well, I have both, but what do I do? What's your first go-to? Are you going to go towards the pharmaceutical in it, or are you?
What's he going to say? My guess is, because I've watched a lot of House, would you not take some labs and figure out what the fuck is happening? Maybe there are some things that are dispositive that you can ask for symptoms of or whatever. But like the first thing my guess is you probably test, no? And if your levels are super fucking low, then they'd probably recommend a fucking supplement or some bullshit. Do you think they just pump you full of medication like immediately?
Going to hit, well, maybe magnesium can help you, which it has. by
I
the way.
will present the correct diagnosis pathway to, first of all, make sure that is the condition that you have.
Right.
Because a lot of times the internet guides patients to believe that they have certain conditions that they don't.
Well, cramps are pretty self-explanatory.
Meaning, not the symptoms.
Okay.
Symptom.
Right.
Your symptom is your symptom. I'm no
Right, right.
expert in that. It's your
Gotcha.
body.
Yeah.
So the symptom is real. The question is, what is the diagnosis that's leading for that symptom to
Right,
happen?
right.
Because some functional medicine doctors tend to take this approach where they say, we look at the root cause where your doctor doesn't. Well, I don't
Functional medicine is code word for absolute fucking bullshit. Okay, careful.
No, I was trained in medical school to always look for the root cause and not just put a bandage on things because I actually want to help you. So I wouldn't necessarily look to treating your symptom instantly. I would first start an investigative path to figure out why you have said symptom.
And remember, while you're doing the labs, you got to send the other doctor to go to their house and break in and look at their environment. Hell yeah.
For restless leg syndrome, one of these lab values that's oftentimes not checked that correlates with restless leg syndrome is anemia. And sometimes supplementing iron in those patients who are anemic could be beneficial for them.
Right.
And guess what? That's an absolute supplement that can help in those situations. But better yet, here's what a good doctor should do. A good doctor should present the options if there's a pharmaceutical one.
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. I just got poisoning. Or I might be retarded. Judge Emil Bovee is at President Trump's Pennsylvania event tonight, an unusual move for a federal judge. When asked by MS Now off camera why he's here, he responded, "Just here as a citizen coming to watch the president speak." I thought Bovee was the deputy attorney general. Did they get moved, or is there a different Bovee, or? They made him a judge. Is that normal that you jump from? I guess maybe it might be. Well, because most judges are like attorneys or something first. I don't know how normal this is. Who's the deputy attorney general now? Deputy attorney general.
Well, you're looking up. I was a little behind. I was going to tell you. Yeah, Emil Bovee before was deputy attorney general, and then they made him a judge whenever they were trying to do the confirmation hearings for him becoming a judge. They were bringing up quotes from people who had quit the DOJ and were like saying, "Hey, he said fuck the courts. He said fuck this judge. He said this." Like, yeah, it was a big thing.
Not good.
He was confirmed. Like that was like months ago. Like in the summer, he was confirmed as judge.
So Bobby was just a temporary guy. Nice. Also, congratulations, guys. We've been nominated for Most Retarded Influencer Oh, wait, this is just in this category. Attention-seeking retard. Filter Queen with insane rants. Dog zapping, Hassan Piker. Some of the biggest meltdowns of 2025. Uncensored show, but blocks and censors everyone. Tough guy with security. Wouldn't last a second without. Nice.
Everyone boosted, so Destiny wins, guess.
Based.
Get in there.
If there's a natural one.
I agree.
And ask which one resonates with you.
Well, then why are doctors and big supplement fighting with each other? Why are they against each other?
I'll tell
Why
you.
shouldn't they work?
That's a good
Shouldn't they
question.
work together?
They absolutely should.
You know?
Here's what happens. If certain supplements start becoming very well proven in research that they work, they just become regular medicine and we don't even think about them as supplements. Like if
Right.
someone has a vitamin D deficiency or an iron deficiency,
Right.
no one thinks about a doctor prescribing iron or vitamin D, but we do that.
Right.
In fact, there are some rare indications where we use prescription grade omega-3 medications called Lavazza. So we absolutely do prescribe those. Why we go to war with a supplement company, especially me and my YouTube channel, is because I feel when our healthcare system screws you over and you're hurt because you were misdiagnosed, not listened to, written off, which I'm sure happens.
Which happens.
They go to you and they pretend like they care to sell you something that is potentially unproven
Well, don't
or
doctors do the
exaggerated.
same thing? Do you just automatically assume all doctors care? Because
Well, the things that they prescribe, in a very roundabout way, one of the protections that insurance companies provide for is that they have to be authorized for a certain set of things. The doctor can't just prescribe you whatever the fuck they want and have you take whatever medication you want, because the insurance companies are going to have limitations on what can be prescribed for what conditions. They can't just give you random shit.
not some doctors get into it just for the money.
I think
You know?
that absolutely can happen.
I feel like that's not necessarily true. I feel like they're pressured maybe by family members who want them to be high achievers or something else, but like, I guess it could be true, but the majority of them, I think there are easier ways to make about as much money, or maybe not. Man, it's a lot of work. Being like the whole like training, doctor school or like med school residency and everything sucks. That shit sucks. Maybe. I don't know.
I think it's impossible to judge intention on a huge generality like that. But I think the war, just to answer your question, is that we want people to tell the truth.
Private practice can make a fuck ton of money. You know what? Not only can private practice make a fuck ton of money, which is true, it's really fucking annoying because I think that if you wanted to criticize the most scumbaggy doctors, it would probably be private practice doctors. It's so funny because in the world of medicine, the people that are probably making the most money are the people that are selling a lot of the cosmetic-y fun types of things. So like your male health clinics, the hair restoral clinics, and the fucking TRT clinics, and the plastic surgery clinics, and all these people. Nobody talks about these motherfuckers. MAGA has nothing to say about the Mar-a-Lago faces that everybody's getting, about all the fucking implants and all the workups and all the TRT for every single fucking male above the age of 30 who's ever had a headache in his entire fucking life. Like, nobody's anything to say about any of these people. But they go to the fucking ERs and they'll be like, this person right here who's working like, 5 on, 5 off, who's tired and grouchy all the fucking time, that guy only prescribed that, hypertension relief medication or whatever, or the thing for the heart or whatever. He only did that because he's being paid off by big pharma. Is this guy's managing however many, like, it's so fucking stupid. I hate all these people. I don't care. They all deserve each other.
Truth about their supplement, about their pharmaceutical medication. In
like
fact,
these fucking
like fucking $2,000.
All of this bullshit medication stuff can be expensive. Like these people will in one breath, these people will say like doctors are getting paid off for all this horrible evil shit, and then the next day they're at some stupid fucking clinic getting an NAD plus injection to purify their fucking body for like $700 for a single shot of autistic shit. Okay, don't care.
People to tell the truth about their supplement, about their pharmaceutical medication. In fact, there's been lawsuits that have been settled with the pharma industry in the 20-teens for $3 billion by GSK. Do you know what that lawsuit was about? Improper branding of the two medications Paxil and Wellbutrin. These two medications were improperly branded.
I remember that.
And pharmaceutical companies were held liable.
Okay.
When do the supplement companies
Let
get
me
held
go-
liable when they say you'd be faster, stronger, better looking, whatever it is?
Pause. You've been voted out. I'm sorry.
Damn.
Thank you so much.
I had it too.
Back again.
Hello, sir. Good to see you.
Okay, so I want to point out something that you did. 600 million to 2 trillion, correct? You stated that the 600 million was the size of the industry in the United States.
Didn't you say 600 billion?
You compared that to a global number.
No, the global number is 4 trillion. 2 trillion is the US number. If I
Is the
said it wrong.
Okay, all right. So I was just going to call you out of it. The other thing I would like to ask, though, is what is the operational definition? I'm assuming that that's coming from a research article.
Global Wellness Institute.
Okay, Global Wellness Institute. But what I'm asking you is, what is the operational definition? The reason why I'm asking that is because I would bet you dollars to donuts that when they came to defining what a wellness and supplement company is, they threw this wide sweeping net in order to inflate the numbers. Because when I did the research, it said that the supplement industry in the United States was 10% of what the pharmaceutical industry was.
That's accurate.
The other then you just said it wasn't.
Because the wellness industry isn't just driven by supplements.
But your prompt was big supplement. So is it big wellness or big supplement?
Big supplement works in tangent with big supplement. Every time you see a wellness influencer, they're not just selling you supplements. They're selling you their courses. They're selling you their get well schemes, the miraculous fixes for whatever is ailing you. And this idea of capturing too many things all at once. When we say that their chronic diseases are significantly higher in children, I think you said that earlier. In the United States, kids are sicker than they used to be.
Oh yeah, I said that. Sicker. Yeah, absolutely.
Higher rates of chronic health diseases.
Yes.
Well, part of that is because there are more conditions that are now being counted in that scenario. And if you look at children's mortality, children actively dying per 100,000, it's actually significantly down over the last 30 years.
So who created the opioid epidemic? Big Pharma or Big Wellness? And how were they held accountable?
You see, you got it. You got it. You know what? You want to know what? This is a bullshit comparison because guess what? The only, big wellness can never create epidemics because none of their shit fucking does anything because it's all fucking bullshit. Never in the history of all of drug abuse kind or of all of get high, nobody's like, bro, you got the fucking super vitamin C supplements, bro? I'm about to get fucked out of my mind. Bro, did you bring the fucking omega-3 fatty acid capsules? Because that shit doesn't do fuck all. It doesn't do fucking anything. Bro, can you bring the shit so I can fucking calm my ass? Hell no. You know what they want? They want fucking Xanax because that shit works. They want fucking Adderall because that shit actually does something. Yeah, no shit, there are no epidemics or no addictions or whatever created by big wellness because all of it is fucking bullshit. That's a bad comparison. Mike needs to say it right now. If you want to party, do you find the guy who runs the wellness store or do you find the fucking drug dealer? What are you looking for?
Hundreds of thousands of people had died. Agreed. They had to give up $7 billion. Agreed. I spent 7 years of my life for peddling drugs. Yeah. My impact on people's lives was all compared to what they did. And you're telling me that...
You might ask him. Peddling drugs? How many supplements did you sell, buddy?
They were
none because they suck.
Accountable. That is absolutely utterly disgusting. So then my question is, just like what you asked this gentleman, if you're over here saying, hey, we need to light a fire, we need to hold big supplement accountable, then my question is, are you also investing equal energy in your own time to saying we need to hold big pharma accountable?
Absolutely.
In what way?
In every way. Anytime they say something that's inaccurate, I call balls and strikes.
With doctors too? With pharmaceutical companies?
With doctors, with pharmaceutical companies. You just called out the opioid thing you said, what was their punishment? Well, you said it's $7 billion. I don't think that's enough. I think that there should be harsher punishments for those executives that were making those decisions.
Did you make YouTube videos
Of course, we talk about it all the time.
I don't know enough about your YouTube channel. If you did, then...
These fucking retards remind me of the Epstein shit where all the conservatives, and they tell on themselves so much. You saw so many people doing this where the conservatives are like, well, if we release the Epstein files and Trump is there, where's my something? Bill Clinton and other Democrats might be there too. And it's like, okay, fine, release it all. That argument never, ever, 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 ever worked a single fucking time on anybody ever. And they still kept saying it. There might be some people. Okay, then who cares? Then throw them in jail too. What do you think we're going to say? What you guys say, which is actually, I saw that 14-year-old girl's fucking Zenga, okay? She was quite mature for her age, and I could totally understand why Epstein needed to smash this chick until she killed herself, okay?
It's a bigger issue, but it's about trying to figure out what the truth is by calling balls and strikes fairly. So if we do something wrong in the healthcare industry, I will call it out. And medicine wants to call it out. There's definitely special interest groups. They need to be held accountable. But if you're going to do it sloppily, like how I believe Secretary Kennedy's doing it, you're actually going to have more bad actors.
True.
He likes transparency, right?
True.
He said he wanted to run on radical transparency. Can I tell you one thing that he did that's actually going to make things much less transparent?
Please do.
Every time HHS enacts a new policy since 1946, they had a period of waiting for public comment, for people who are stakeholders to talk about how this policy will impact them. Guess what Secretary Kennedy ended this year for the first time since 1946?
Do you know why he did it?
Yes.
Why?
I can quote you word for word why he did it.
Okay, so my understanding is...
No, I'm going to read it to you. It's not needed, and it's not very effective.
Okay, but
this is his quote.
The reason why he said that is because the industries were using that process to actually interfere with things.
Wait, hold on. Public comment.
Oh, come on now. They can manipulate anything they want. The whole point of what...
No! Dr. Mike should have said, okay, cool. Then, sir, can you please just shut the fuck up and sit the fuck down? If that's your go-to, because you give the whole game away there. Oh, anything can be manipulated. They can manipulate every single thing, anything they want. Oh, then why do you trust anything from the government? Then fuck all of it, right? Like, bro, you obviously know your shit. You said you were a fucking professional drug dealer. Apparently, the only you fucked up one is getting caught, right? Like, you're the motherfucker that sold crack to kids, and you're gonna sit here and say that Big Pharma is the one at fault. Where were you even getting your drugs from? Like
he's doing in HHS is he's saying, here's how corporate capture is taking place, and here's how we get rid of it. That's all he's trying to do.
This is the where are my old friends at? This was the X Skills Me argument of why do we need to eliminate all government regulations? And he's like, because of rent seeking. And I'm like, wait, what do you mean? He's like, well, when corporations engage in you'd say, I guess, would you call it bad activity? When corporations are trying to appeal more to bypassing regulations or appealing to the government in some way to gain a market advantage instead of investing in their product, that's called rent-seeking behavior. Well, if we get rid of all regulations, corporations can no longer rent-seek. And it's like, okay, that's a sure.
If you look at what he did with like the FDA, he was saying things weren't centralized, they were ineffective, we don't need this much money, get rid of it. He's saying here's how the revolving door happens, on and on and on, all these things. So even if you don't like Secretary Kennedy in and of itself, you do agree with some of the things that he's...
I don't even go as far as saying I don't like him.
Okay.
I just think that when you cut $3.8 billion from HIV, maternal health research, ALS, when you cut the funding for mRNA vaccines that in the future can perhaps help treat one of our family members from having pancreatic cancer, prevent them from having pancreatic cancer, I think that's not someone I want in charge of HHS.
Okay, but we just went over it. If everybody focuses on their lifestyle changes, we don't need that.
That's not true.
It is true.
Not everything in health is a
true.
lifestyle change issue. A lot of it is, but not
if your VO2 max is in the upper 2 percentile
You'll
for
still
your
get
age
sick.
group, your risk for all-cause mortality is next to nothing.
You
It
think
literally
people don't-
does.
You can't die? You're immortal? That's all we needed? Oh my God. Hallelujah. Those stupid fucking kids. Do kids get leukemia because their VO2 max is not high enough? That's what happened? I'm VO2 maxing. Get me my... I like to take the, like the air mattresses you can get? I just I buy 2 of those pumps and I hook them up to my fucking nose and then I put duct tape on my mouth and I just turn them on. And I get my fucking lungs pumped.
Doesn't matter. I'm not saying that they don't die, but they don't die from chronic disease is ultimately what it comes down to.
But do you believe in genetic diseases?
So genes have to be activated. Genes, the bad...
And they're, say metabolic disease. Oh God, if he says it, I'm about to come on camera all over my fucking chin. It's gonna fucking squirt up. Please just say the phrase metabolic disease. This is what these people believe. It's so fun. This is why earlier, was this on stream? I think. Earlier when it was like, oh, well, don't you agree with some things that this person says? Oh, when I was talking to Hussein on foreign policy, don't you agree with some? No, I don't agree with anything. Even if they say a thing I agree with, I don't agree with it because however they got there is so convoluted and fucked up. I'm not even gonna agree with anything. Even if on the outside, like the claim appears similar, it's not, right? So when this guy comes up and he's like, oh, well, we need exercise because a lot of disease can be prevented that way, I wouldn't agree with him because he's not saying that having a healthier body will predispose you towards not developing certain chronic diseases. He believes that all chronic disease is fake, is a fabricated thing by Big Pharma just to sell you drugs. So whatever claim he makes is going to be fucking recorded, regardless of whether or not it doesn't matter if he's right or wrong. It's like doing calc, right? You can't have a huge problem where you put the right answer at the end and you clearly are bullshitting your way through the problem. You're not going to get credit for the answer on that problem. The teacher's going to mark the whole thing wrong.
Genes are activated by oxidative stress. Literally all disease is related to mitochondrial dysfunction. Okay.
Which Secretary
Oh fuck. Mitochondrial dysfunction is another big one they say, not just metabolic disorders. Although sometimes people will include metabolic, but that's another big one. Whenever anybody talks about your mitochondria, they're also probably about to say some bullshit. Fuck.
He can diagnose by
which is why VO2 max is so powerful. You are judging the respiratory exchange ratio, which is telling you if your body is using fat for substrate or if it's using sugar for substrate. You are then judging the lactate threshold. And if you use more fat for energy and your lactate threshold is further off, there is less oxidative stress in your body, which does not damage genes, which means that your likelihood for cancer and all-cause mortality is next to nothing.
What? You can only burn so much fat. You have to eat, you have to have you wouldn't call this homeostatic, or maybe it would be English. You have to have a balance between the food that you can't just be burning fat 24/7 or you would just die.
Which does not damage fat for energy substrate, or if it's using sugar for substrate, you are judging the respiratory exchange ratio, which is telling you if your body is using fat for substrate or if it's using sugar for substrate. You are
fuck. I don't know all this as much as I should. Your body tends to burn glucose when it wants energy. Glucose is floating around in your bloodstream, or it comes from the liver via glucogen, I think, or glucagon or whatever. If your body runs out of glucose, though, at some point, and then your glycogen stores in your liver run out, at some point, it has to start eating fat in your body, and it converts the fat to directly to glucose or to glucagon and then into glucose or whatever. But if you don't eat enough, that's how you start to burn fat eventually. You can also do, if you're not taking in like sugar directly, like through carbohydrates, your body can also do another process called ketones, where they, like the ketogenic diet relies on this, like ketones or whatever. But whatever you're burning, if you're burning ketones, it means you're on a fucking all carb bullshit. Or ketones might also just mean that you're out of blood sugar, I think, and you're starting to burn fat. But I don't. This is like a nonsense statement. Like, my guess is you're probably burning about the same. As long as your weight remains constant, you're going to be burning not much fat basically ever. I don't know how you would.
Then judging the lactate threshold. And if you use more fat for energy and your lactate threshold is further off, there is less oxidative stress in your body, which does not damage genes, which means that your likelihood for cancer and all-cause mortality is next to nothing.
But that's not true.
It is true.
Like, when you say high VO2 max is associated with lower cancer risk and better cancer outcomes, like, it wouldn't surprise me at all if this is true. But you need, like, having a high VO2 max, like, shows that you're healthy in a lot of different ways. It's kind of like, I think, I don't know if this is still the case, but I thought it was like, there were 2 tests that a doctor can do that are like the best immediate indicators for your health or whatever. And one is like your grip strength. And I think the second is they'll do a score from 0 to 10 of how easy is it for you to go from a sitting or laying down position to standing up without using your hands. And if you can do this like incredibly quickly and easily, like if you can go from sitting to standing up without having to use your hands or without losing your balance, whatever, you get a 10 or whatever, it's like supposed to be a very good indicator of your health. But like, it's not, but like if you heard that and you were like, oh, really? And you bought like gorilla grippers and all day you just practiced like standing up from a laying down position and you made no other lifestyle changes, well, then you would start to fall outside the norm because these things are just associated with health in general. They're not actually things that make you healthy. Like, the guy doesn't go in with a heart attack and they're like, oh God, what's going on? I was like, I don't know, but this guy can go from a sitting position to a standing position almost flawlessly. So it's definitely not as hard. Like, this is just not, it's an associated thing, you know?
It's not true.
So then you're telling me that Dr. Attia is full of shit? Dr. Attia?
I don't think
The one doctor that you rely on, also whenever people quote random, especially when they quote physicians, is so like, you're not even quoting like a research doctor. It's funny because this is like the counterintuitive thing. So, well, if I'm going to talk about a doctor, talk to me about medical stuff, well, then I want to know like a doctor who's like an MD or whatever. So why? Don't you want a research doctor? MDs can be research doctors as well, but usually they're not. Usually they were physicians that flunked out of their fucking practice because they started prescribing some retarded fucking shit because they watched too many episodes of Joe Rogan or whatever, and now they're like quote unquote research doctors that, by the way, contribute to absolutely no research or anything else. But
Attia would agree with you. I think he would say VO2 max focusing on that will decrease someone's likelihood of dying from heart disease. It will improve biomarkers.
He's literally said it. Your risk is next to nothing. The whole point is that the current system that you are supporting, all right, quality of life goes up. You know, we're in our 30s and our 40s, and it drastically starts to drop.
I don't think it should be that way.
Okay, it shouldn't be that way. It should just be flat, and then all of a sudden we should just go straight down.
Well, I don't think quality of
No, your body is in peak physical capability or whatever in your late teens or early 20s. You can maintain health throughout your life, but it's always going to be in a slightly worse thing, right? Like,
life should ever just go flat. I mean,
well, no. I mean, like, so like my. I
actually think medicine. That's where it up. I think medicine does this thing.
But
Dr.
Attia has talked about the chart where if you look at the difference that drugs have made, it's at the very end of life. It doesn't actually extend life.
A lot of times, yeah.
If anything, there's like this much of a gap as far as improving quality of life at the end. So if you're really looking at the research, the drugs have done absolutely nothing. And the other thing that it does is it shields people.
If you have sepsis and you are incredibly sick.
Acute versus chronic. When it comes to acutes, I will sit there and say, yes, we need doctors, yes, we need pharmaceuticals, okay? Sure. But when it comes to
and
chronic
when someone's
disease.
born with type 1 diabetes, are you going to tell that person go VO2 max?
Why are they born with type 1 diabetes?
Because their lungs are too small. What does that mean? What is he going to say? Oxidative stress from the parents. Boom! No, wrong one, sorry. Fuck! It's going to be the parents' fault for eating poorly or something.
I don't know, but
you don't know?
You tell me why they're born.
Do you not maybe think that it's because the mother was unhealthy and there was...
He's going to say there was oxidative stress?
Oxidative stress that possibly...
You're a fucking god.
By the way, you're not even... I don't even think... Generally speaking, somebody can tell me if I'm wrong, I don't think you're even generally born with type 1 diabetes. I think that's usually a thing that you develop like early adolescence, like anywhere from like 6 to 13 or whatever. There are antibodies you can test for it where it starts to show up or whatever. I don't know if the average type 1 diabetic is literally born like day one, you're automatically type 1 diabetic. I think you normally develop it within the first 10 years of your life. But like, so oxidative stress, so much hardcore oxidative stress from your mom that you're developing, like,
the risk of it, but you don't think that people will need pharmaceuticals if they just think about their VO2
We
max?
have to make
Why
a
is it an
choice.
either or? Why can't it be both?
Okay, but here's the deal. We only have so much money, right?
Sure.
Do we have unlimited funds?
Well, we can separate it
we need
appropriately.
to. So we need to make the decision. Are we going to continue to treat and enable, or are we going to prevent? Okay. If we start taking our money and we start putting it into prevention, things will
I love
change. Things
prevention.
will happen.
You know what helps with prevention? Vaccines. You know what Secretary Kennedy doesn't support? Vaccines.
Uh-oh. No. Not that kind of prevention, Chief. Not that one. Not the vaccine one.
Okay, pause.
Thank you.
No, but you can be born without islet cells, the things that make the insulin. Why would you say that? Why would you say something that had nothing to do with what we were talking about? Like you were well actualing me. The Sharia mind police would come for people like you next in my society, okay? Islet, also not islet, sorry.
Love the colors.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much, Doctor. It's
absolutely.
Good to see you.
Pleasure.
It really is.
Got some notes? I love it.
do.
Love to
I
see
do.
it.
I do. It's not every day you get to sit down across from a doctor.
I mean, if your doctor's not spending time with you, I think you should look for a second opinion instantly.
Perhaps so, but I'm along.
Type 1 diabetic here. Got it when I was in 7th grade. Most people do get it in those age ranged, or if you're an adult, due to unhealthy life choices, you go from type 1 to type 2. I'm sorry, you go from type 2 to type 1. Oh, wait, I was going to call you retarded, but actually I think you're right. I think it is still considered... Is it considered type 1? I thought type 1 had to be the autoimmune disease, but if you get far enough into your type 2 diabetes, it's the islet cells, I think, are the ones in your liver that produce the insulin. I think those will die. They basically they get so overworked that they just like fucking die. And then I don't know if you're considered, I don't know if they actually do consider you type 1 diabetic at that point. Because I'm not sure if type 1 has to be, oh wait, not liver, is it your pancreas? Whatever the fuck it is.
Ways away from.
What, does type 1 have to be the autoimmune disease? Type 1 diabetes, let's find out. Let's fucking look it up, okay? Known as juvenile diabetes or insulin-dependent diabetes. Oh, so maybe it is. In this condition, the pancreas makes little or no insulin. So type 2 might become type 1. Good job, Chatter. I almost raged at you. And then I looked it up, and I saved myself, actually, so fuck you. But now I learned something. Thank you.
You and you're unique. Okay, so my first question for you is, you spent years in med school.
Right.
You spent years practicing. What has been your chief goal?
To keep
hold on, wait. You just said I am aspiring right now. You were the guy in DGG chat that said something that was not related to what the YouTube chatter said that I called retarded. But actually, you in DGG chat actually would have been correct as well. Because if you're born with no islet cells, you would still be considered type 1 because you don't have the ability to make insulin. So you're lucky that YouTuber saved you. Okay.
From you and you're unique. Okay, so my first question for you is, you spent years in med school.
Uh-oh.
You spent years practicing.
Uh-oh.
What has been your chief goal?
To keep patients as healthy and happy. And
Wrong. It's to prescribe drugs.
the highest quality of life for as long as possible.
Okay, I think that's what everyone's looking for from the medical industry. And I did call it an industry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that that's you.
No, it is me.
Okay.
Don't hedge it. It's me.
It's you.
It's destroying your beta cells with antibodies or overexhaustion. Not necessarily. That's a little bit more complicated because some people, like me, for instance, have no beta cells because every single cell in my body is an alpha cell because I'm a fucking alpha. Unlike you, beta fuck.
I think what's so important is that the time that you spent there, how much of it was spent trying to give your patients something that would prevent them from getting sick, rather than treating them after they've gotten sick.
Well, so there's this huge problem, you fucking idiot, where people don't come to me for disease prevention because I work at something called a fucking hospital. You retarded fuck. For the same reason that you don't go to the gym to cure your fucking disease, people don't come to the hospital for disease prevention because I'm a hospital. I treat sick people, not pre-sick people. Why? What are you looking to hospitals to help people get in shape for?
A lot.
Okay.
Can I give you some examples?
Getting sick. rather than treating them after they've gotten sick?
Besides vaccines, what's your base?
A lot.
Okay.
Can I give you some examples?
I'd love it.
When a patient comes in for their annual physical, it's funny to say, but I don't think annual physicals really exist. I think most people come in because they have a problem and then they just tack it on to their annual physical. But I think about what risks they face. So if someone has an elevated BMI, not the best way to judge obesity, but using my vision and the BMI number, I could tell if they have obesity. I will check certain blood variables to see if they have prediabetes.
Okay.
I will check their blood pressure, essentially thinking about a form of primary prevention. Because the number one killer in America is heart disease.
Okay.
And my goal is to decrease death, improve quality of life. And the way that I think about that is by preventing cardiovascular disease.
Okay.
And my goal is essentially thinking about a form of primary prevention. Because the number one killer in America is heart disease.
Okay.
And my goal is to decrease death.
Oh, I thought he said increase death. I thought he misspoke.
Improve quality of life. And the way that I think about that is by preventing cardiovascular disease, which is heart attacks, strokes. The way that I could do that, the two biggest ones, outside of like getting them to stop bad habits like smoking, is lowering their blood pressure to a normal range, getting them to have healthier cholesterol numbers, and
If you have a VO2 max over 65, you literally can't have a heart attack. True. When I go party and they're busting out the cocaine and the guy's like, you've had way too much. I'm like, bro, I brought my VO2 machine with me. I literally cannot stroke the fuck out. I cannot have a heart attack. My VO2 max is so fucking huge.
Getting them to have healthier sugar numbers when they're fasting.
Okay.
That is the biggest thing that I do.
The biggest.
The biggest thing.
Okay.
In addition to thinking about those numbers, I also spend time focusing on their mental health, their sleep. Sometimes that requires doing a sleep study to see if they have sleep apnea, because a lot of people who have high blood pressure, they don't know why. It's because they have sleep apnea and they're not sleeping well.
Okay.
I think about lifestyle changes related to exercise. I incorporate aerobic training and resistance training, especially to those who
I don't like this answer from him. I disagree here, because most doctors aren't really going to talk you through all of this, because they, honest to God, like the hardcore answer is not only do they not have the time, fuck them if they do. If I go to the fucking hospital, first of all, just as a quick shout out to all the doctors in chat, fuck you and your bullshit ass fucking appointment scheduling things. Because if you show up to a doctor appointment 2 minutes late, good luck. They're scheduling you out fucking next year. You got anally fucked for showing up 2 minutes late. But you better fucking believe that if you show up on time, it could be 7 a.m. and somehow they already have a patient in there that's going to make it so they can't see you for another fucking hour and a half. Okay, so fuck you for whatever you're doing back there. I know you're not seeing patients, okay? You guys are doing all the good drugs, the ones that you don't prescribe to the patients. That's what you're really doing back there, you motherfuckers, okay? But if I go to the doctor, there's already a shortage in doctors. You don't need a personal trainer, okay? Dave from your local fucking Planet Fitness, okay, with the lunk alarm, he can be your personal trainer. The doctor is not your fucking life coach. I don't need the doctor to waste his fucking time, his 12 years of med school, residency training, and everything else to tell your fat ass to eat less cheeseburgers and to take a fucking walk. Go to the gym and learn that shit, or turn on literally any TV program fucking ever, or any of the recorded fucking podcast people that you listen to. They all say the same shit. Why would I waste a hospital time, a doctor time? What do we need to do? Just attach a fucking gym to the hospital and send the retards there? Like, it's so stupid.
Older than
we can have like the gym entrance is here, the hospital entrance is here, the gym entrance is for sick people, and the hospital entrance is for actually sick people. We could just, maybe we start with that plan and we see how it goes.
Age 60, because by keeping your muscles strong, carrying weight on your body, you not only strengthen your muscles, which is a longevity organ, but also keeping your bones strong, especially for training, especially to those who changes related to exercise. I incorporate aerobic training and resistance training, especially to those who are older than age 60, because by keeping your muscles strong, carrying weight on your body, you not only strengthen your muscles, which is a longevity organ, but also keeping your bones strong, especially for women. So a lot of what I do, probably the majority of what I do, is focus on and vaccines.
Okay, and vaccines. Okay, let me ask you this. Why is it then you seem to be resistant to supplements when what we've said is that some people have a deficiency of magnesium or iron or many things? Why is it that it's usually a prescription that is chosen first over these things? And you said that supplements, it's, how did you say, a for-profit? Of course supplements are for-profit. Pharmacy.
Because supplements are mostly bullshit. Because most of this shit is not going to fucking do it. That's why when you get sick and some real shit is happening, you don't go down to the fucking Herbalife store. You go to the hospital, because that guy's going to actually do shit. When you're buying illegal drugs, you're buying some pharmacy grade sick shit. You're not getting the bullshit super vitamin C pill, all right?
Supplements, it's, how did you say, a for-profit? Of course supplements are for-profit. Pharmacy is for-profit. Yeah. But here's my issue.
Or there's two types of people when they get sick, okay? If you can either do like wellness stuff or hospital stuff, there's two types of people. The people that go to the hospital, or the people that do the wrong thing and then go to the hospital too late and fucking die. And nobody's immune to that shit, okay? Fucking Steve Jobs got pancreatic cancer and fucking ate apples until he died, like a retard, okay? It's even rich people aren't immune from shit like this.
Diabetes makes a lot of money for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Okay? Did you say a for-profit? Of course supplements are for-profit. Pharmacy is for-profit.
Yeah.
But here's my issue. Diabetes makes a lot of money for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Okay? Can we agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, it
Yeah.
does.
Is that a bad thing?
Okay, here's the bad thing. Why are we just treating the symptoms of diabetes? Why is it there isn't pills that are being designed to cure the diabetes?
First of all, what the fuck do you think the GLP-1, all that research, why do you think that all of that was even being researched? It originally started as a diabetic treatment, okay? Number one. Number two, do you know who makes the most money off of diabetes? The most motherfucking money? It's not Big Pharma, okay? It's fucking, I don't know any fast food restaurants to start with the letter or the word big, but it's fucking Coca-Cola and McDonald's. They're feeding all the obese people their food every fucking day. Like, these are the people that make the most money off this shit. You can't make a pill. Well, I'm sorry. You can't make a pill to make somebody not fat, but I guess the Ozempic, semaglutide, all that shit kind of is. But, oh, Big Mac. Fuck! That's what I should have said. It's not Big Pharma. It's Big Mac. They're the ones making the money. True.
Why is it there isn't pills that are being designed to cure the diabetes?
But Ozempic.
But instead to keep us taking the pill for the rest of our lives.
Who do you
with
want to
all the
create
side
that
effects? I want an industry that is maybe linked
Ozempic!
to the idea of
Ozempic!
your health. Cure. Why are we treating people for a lifetime and never coming up with something?
They literally do come up with cures. What? Do you know what the cheapest bullshit in the fucking world is? And if you've ever paid for anything related to your health, you know that it's a fucking vaccine. Like, what do you think you spend more money on? A single night in the hospital or a flu shot or a fucking COVID vax or whatever? Like that, if Big Pharma didn't want to make money, they would never, ever vaccinate people because it's always, there's more money in the fucking treatment than there is in the fucking cure of the prevention. Not to mention we do cure diseases. Like,
Metformin has never cured anyone of people for a lifetime and never coming up with something. Metformin has never cured anyone of diabetes. Yeah. Yet it's the #1 prescribed drug in America for diabetes. Hasn't cured anyone.
Sure.
Why isn't that the goal?
I think it is the goal. I just don't think we have the cure. And you know how we get the cure? Research dollars. We're weaponizing all these words against Big Pharma, but we need them to create the cure. And look, I'll tell you what some...
Mike, he works, I'm being racist against doctors about things I don't have any idea about. Take everything I say here, the 1%. Okay, conviction rate, okay. Sorry, just because I don't, okay. I feel like he spends too much time at a whatever public wellness clinic where he's seeing rich, happy people who are coming in for advice on how can I make my fucking drug. I think Dr. Mike needs to talk to more retards. He needs retarded patients that are coming in with ultra fucking high blood pressure, with fucking A1Cs over 10, that are fighting and arguing with him over any prescription ever. I actually heard that if you take that medication, you're going to be hooked on it forever. I actually heard that if we do chemo, it's going to make me sicker than the cancer will. So I want to try something different. He needs more of these people because he's way too nice. I feel like he's just way too nice with all these motherfuckers. What do you want a doctor to do if you come in and you're dying, okay? All of your extremities are fucking rotting because of the glucose in your blood. What the fuck do you want the doctor to do at that point? Lipo for the sugar that is syruping your fucking bloodstream? Like, what is he supposed to do?
I think it is the goal. I just don't think we have the cure. And you know how we get the cure? Research dollars. We're weaponizing all these words against Big Pharma, but we need them to create the cure. And look, I'll tell you what some conspiracy-minded people think, and I've thought it too myself, because I think it's important to think about the other side. Is Big Pharma withholding cures because they want us to be subjugated to their medication and paying them their whole lives? Reasonable question, right?
Yeah.
I think about that myself. So a pharmaceutical is for profit. They'd make a lot of money if they make a cure.
Yep.
Why would they not want to make a lot of money if they make a cure?
Exactly.
Because once the cure comes, then we're not a slave to the, right? We're no longer a slave to their pharmaceuticals.
I think the same.
But you're implying that there's some top secret level of medical research that only they could do that's not being outsourced to any medical, or I'm sorry, no research institution, nothing else ever. Like, there's nothing, nobody else has discovered any of these top secret medical techniques. They're not publishing these papers anywhere, and they murder the fucking researchers if they take any other fucking research jobs, or if they talk to anybody about any of the research, and no other school, no other country, no other big, it's just so stupid.
You know what my next level of thought is? Do you think when we say Big Pharma, there's one pharmaceutical company or two pharmaceutical companies?
No, there's a lot.
They try to put the other person out of business, no?
There's a lot.
They're in a lot of competition, right?
Of course.
Wouldn't they be deathly afraid if one of their competitors created the cure,
Absolutely.
made billions and trillions?
Yeah.
But they collude. Oh, doctor, he's so, I just want to pet him. He's just so innocent. He's like, oh, this line of argumentation will work for sure. But he's not ready for her to hit her up with they're all in bed with each other, and the FDA and the CDC. They're all colluding. They're colluding. They're the Jews.
$1 on the cure,
Yes.
and they were left hanging.
Okay, let me show you an example. There was a bag company about 15 years ago. They made a bag that was so strong, no joke.
A bag?
A bag.
Okay.
It was so strong, it wouldn't rip, it wouldn't tear.
Is this an Hermes thing?
It was an amazing bag. I am telling you, it was an amazing bag. But guess
I
what?
thought you were going to tell me about the Birkin.
My bad. I couldn't have pre-watched. This was unpre-watchable.
They what? No, not at all. They went out of business because guess why? You only had to buy one. You only had to buy one. It lasted you the next 15 years. I think this is what's going on.
Can you give me like the brand name or anything about this amazing fucking bag? What the fuck? What? Is it lost technology?
People are in it for the profit. That's why they rush to try to protect something, okay? So that way they can say, this belongs to us.
When you say
and
protect
it's-
something, tell me what you mean.
Well, they do the research. They
Uh-oh, don't say patent. That would be a big mistake because you don't know what a patent is, and Dr. Mike probably does.
develop a pill, and they make certain that they are legally protected to be the only ones
For a
to
period of
manufacture
time.
that precisely. And the only reason that after that period has run out is because it's run out. And then other companies can do other drugs that...
And you know what's messed up about that whole process?
Tell me.
That they, sometimes when their patent runs out,
Yes.
they do like a little shady reformulation.
Right, exactly.
I
Yes,
agree. I think
yes.
that's shit.
It stinks.
shouldn't.
I agree.
Yes.
And I call that out.
We're out of time.
If to have a patent, you have to publish aspects of this that are like publicly accessible. Like if you patent the cancer cure pill, everybody's gonna know you patented the cancer curing pill, and everybody's gonna fucking kill you or hate you, or other countries, or fucking China, who steals everything, would just make it on their own.
Great work. Thank you.
I
so
like
much.
you.
Yes,
I like
thank
you.
Thank you. My final surrounded claim is that Maha leadership cares less about health and more about money, power, and politics.
Hey, Doc.
Hello, hello.
How are you doing?
Nice to see you.
Good to meet you. So I want to hear what your proof for your claim is.
Yeah, so I think if you care about health, you would put investment into research into finding cures, as we talked about earlier. You look into systemic ways to get the biggest bang for your buck in terms of improving people's lives. I think the Maha movement has said a lot of those things to get PR wins, but hasn't actually executed any of them. Instead, what has happened is we've seen a tremendous cut in these budgets that have been reserved for improving our health.
Which, by the way, wasn't RFK who did that. That was the Department of Government Efficiency who did that. So that wasn't even him. They did that at the beginning of the year.
Improving our
Which,
health.
by the way,
what has happened is we've seen a tremendous cut in these budgets that have been reserved for improving our health.
Which, by the way, wasn't RFK who did that. That was the Department of Government Efficiency who did that. So that wasn't even him. They did that at the beginning of the year.
He's in charge of Health and Human Services, which is
Correct.
responsible for NIH, FDA,
And Doge was in
and
charge of
CDC.
cutting all.
Sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. You're just another MAGA fucking retard that doesn't really know how the government works. The office of the White House, which is where this digital service, whatever the fuck department, the sub thing, like a thing within the office of the White House, which is what Doge attached itself to, like a cancerous tumor, cannot dictate to every agency what its budget is supposed to be. That's not how these operating budgets and everything are figured out. The president doesn't have the authority to do this. Or actually, maybe he might now. The Supreme Court might have just bent over and let him have it. I don't think he's supposed to be able to do so, but
Federal agencies, and they were the one who made the cut. So, like,
I agree with you.
Right.
Where was RFK on
To
television
defend.
talking about how terrible that is?
also, they're only supposed to. I thought even if we grant all of that, weren't they just supposed to cut waste, fraud, and abuse? So are we saying that medical research is wasteful, fraudulent, or abusive?
anywhere because a large portion of that funding wasn't necessarily going to what we thought it was going to.
Oh, it was going to DEI programs. Say it. Please say it. So I can come. Please, 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 please.
For example.
Let's say yes.
Okay.
Let's say that's the case. You don't even need to prove it.
Okay.
Did he redirect that funding to something better?
Nope.
No,
he
because-
just cut it.
Yeah, right.
But
because-
don't we need to invest more in
because
improving
I'll
people's
tell you
lives?
why. Because we have so many conflicts of interest in the government, which I think you would agree, right?
Sure.
Part of your claim, and I think you made this earlier, was that RFK actually is like he doesn't have to report where his funding comes from, which is not true because the head of the HHS, the CDC, the NIH, any head of any federal government agency always has to report any of their financial backings, right? So they do have to report that. But if you look at one of the things that people were very upset about.
Wait, report it where? Is that true even? I don't know if that's true or not. Maybe it is. Some of them might have to. I know inside some of these departments they have to. Maybe the HHS has this as a requirement. Maybe.
For example, how the NIAC board, right? You're familiar with that, where he cut
No,
like.
tell me about that.
The vaccine.
I believe a lot of the members
Supporting.
of the board there. And
Oh, the
everybody was-
ACIP.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
The Advisory Committee for Immunization.
Exactly.
Oh.
Yeah. 70 to 80% of that board was not reporting enough of where their financial backing was coming from. So a lot of the backing that they're doing in those.
The USC Schaefer Center found that 6.2% of ACIP members had any disclosed conflicts of interest. Not 70, 80%. The study also showed the direct financial ties to vaccine manufacturers had been virtually eliminated, contradicting claims of widespread undisclosed backing.
In that research isn't firstly necessarily going to where you think it's going. What makes you think that they care so much about money, power, and politics when he's not making any money from it? He's clearly being demonized by the media, and they haven't even put any regulations in place. The only thing that RFK has done in the
when this talking point of like demonized by the media is the ultimate, like calling all your friends after work saying like, I'm going to order some pizzas, you know, people are going to bring beer, and we're going to spend the next like 2 weeks building a whole bunch of spooky cardboard cutouts that we're going to put all over our backyard, and then we're going to fucking do 3 tabs of acid each, and we're going to spend 12 hours screaming about the monsters that are chasing us. RFK Jr. is probably only on TRT because his cum reservoir could not replenish itself fast enough for all the suck jobs this fucking retard got by fellow fucking cum-sustained vampire retards on all of these other failed comedian podcasts. Where the fuck is all the horrible press? The only time in your life you've even seen bad press about RFK Jr. is when RFK Jr. is riding some other failed comedian's dick on his show crying about all the bad coverage. Give me a fucking break. Holy shit.
8 months that he's been in office is the food diet regulation. Everything else has just been a recommendation. There's been no regulations that have been passed by the HHS.
Oh, like how the CDC only makes recommendations and can't actually force anybody to get vaccinated?
Yes.
Did you see the first Mile report that he put out?
I did not know. Oh, it was in September, right?
No, it was earlier in the year, but it was a big report. He said, look, we're trying to make children healthier. And there were some valuable things. They were focusing on lifestyle changes. That's cool. 7 sources, fully made up, about research that was never done.
Based.
When they reach out to the authors that they listed their reasoning for why they were making certain recommendations. I guarantee you, those sources were fully made up.
Okay.
Their reasoning for why they were making certain recommendations. I guarantee.
There's no way that's actually true. He fucked up. You're supposed to say, I've never heard of that. There's no way that's true, right? That would be crazy, right?
Guarantee you, those sources were fully made up.
Okay.
People reached out to the participants' names that were listed as authors, and they quote unquote said, we never did that research, it does not exist.
Okay, what was in the report?
I mean, the report is dozens of pages long. But
what was it about?
About children's
Did it
health
publish
care.
any regulation? Was it just regulation?
No, the report was amazing.
It's okay because he didn't force anybody to do anything.
Like a State of the Union report about what's happening with children's health. But isn't it frustrating or scary that the reasons why they're putting in certain recommendations in the report come from research that fully doesn't exist? And I'll tell you my theory about it, and I can't prove it.
Okay, go ahead.
That they use AI to make those sources.
Yep, I was going to say, yeah, 100%, yeah.
AI hallucinated those sources, which I've seen happen when I ask AI questions.
Okay.
So to me, I think it's really scary.
Are you talking about the report that talked about like
It's the Maha landmark report
1 in
that they
30 children
celebrated.
have autism? Because that's true.
I'm not arguing about individual claims.
He wants it so desperately monkey branch to another fucking stupid fucking dialogue tree.
Talk about that for a second.
Sure.
and he forces it after he's trying. He's like, didn't you hear? It's not about that. Like, no, not at all. Okay, well, let's just talk about that anyway.
I think more kids than ever before have been diagnosed with autism.
Okay,
I agree.
Why is that? Let me just ask you this. Do you think that America is the most unhealthy nation in the world?
No.
Okay, that's
in the
why?
world.
Yeah. We spend the most on healthcare,
because
we're
there's
most on health,
countries
the
that
most
are,
highest rates
you
of
mean
chronic disease.
in terms of, you're comparing it probably to industrialized countries or like
Yes,
very wealthy
yes.
nations, but in the world,
We
I
have the
would
highest
say
rates
no.
of chronic disease. Would you say that?
I think we're up there. Look, who cares about absolutes? We're up there. We're not doing great. Health-wise, we're terrible.
Okay.
In fact, a lot of the capitalistic stuff that got us so unhealthy, all this ultra-processed foods, we're now exporting to other countries and getting them sick, and they're catching up.
Yeah, and I think that that's a problem. Why are you opposing the first figure in 60 years who said that that's a problem?
Well,
so hold on.
I'll answer your question.
I just can't. There's like this phenomenon of like Jordan Peterson is the best self-help men's improvement person ever. What did he tell you? Well, the same shit that my mom told me, but just like a lot more misogynistically packaged. Clean your room. Really? That's the guy? The guy who, by the way, is like possibly dead right now and was medically comatized to get off of his fucking drug addiction? That's your ultra male role model? That's the one? Or it's like RFK Jr. is doing something that's never been done in 60 years of HHS secretaries. Really? What's he doing? Telling you that fast food is probably not good for you. What? Fast food is probably not good. Really? That's fucking great. That's not all, though. He also says you should exercise more. What? What? Really?
Why are you opposing the first figure in 60 years who said that that's a problem?
Well,
so hold on.
I'll answer your question.
Okay, go ahead.
This is good, yeah, because I don't think he is. And I don't think he's actually doing anything to oppose it because he's sitting at Steak and Shake and telling people about McDonald's, how they used to fry their fries in beef tallow, and it was so much better. And then answering your question even further, Michelle Obama tried to get kids to have healthy lunches.
This was too much for me. I have scar. The reason why I wear this jacket all the time now is because I actually started cutting the night that I listened to Republicans and how brutal they were towards Michelle Obama. It was the only way I could not self-harm to death, is listening to Piers Morgan being on some fucking panel where he was like, "Oi, and I think it's actually brilliant, mate, how Republicans are now making very non-controversial claims like children should exercise and eat healthier, and now we'll see if the Democrats take the bait fighting against it with RFK Jr." When Michelle Obama was literally making the claim like 15 years ago, and Republicans were literally like, I will rape my child with greasy pepperoni pizza if I want to, because that's my God-given right as a fat fucking parent. And I can't believe this fucking black lady is trying to tell me what my schools can give to my goddamn children. We're gonna homeschool pizza every day if we fucking have to, okay?
At school, and again,
okay.
Answering your question even further, Michelle Obama tried to get kids to have healthy lunches at school, and again, not partisan here, because Secretary Kennedy used to be a Democrat also. Michelle Obama had a program for kids to move after
those
school.
lunches have like seed oils in them? Because the whole point he went to...
Just finish the
fast food restaurant.
Let me finish the
seed
point.
oils.
Let me finish the point. So whether or not there's seed oils,
and he did the beef tallow. He was trying to defend fucking In-N-Out. By the way, this type of retard is the exact type of person that Dr. Mike and me talk about when we say, when you have bad conversations, it's actually worse than just not talking about the issue at all. It's better to just say nothing. It's a brother version to the saying, if somebody thinks you're an idiot, don't open your mouth and remove all doubt, or whatever. Like, it's sometimes just better to know nothing than to like walk in here with all the bravado of like, well, actually, healthy foods at schools can be bad because of fucking seed oils. But actually, as long as you eat ultra processed, ultra refined foods, but they're soaked in beef tallow instead of whatever fucking oil, that's actually a-okay for you. Like,
oils or beef tallow, it doesn't matter. It's still junk food. Michelle Obama tried to get kids to have healthier lunches, and she tried to
no, it's not. No, he's like, no, it's not. He was like, no.
Get them texturized. You know what people called her on the right? Food police.
Yep.
They hated it. They despised it.
I agree.
Michael Bloomberg in New York tried to put a soda tax
I'm
on
not
those
here defending the
giant
Republican
things.
Party.
But
yeah, I'm not defending the Republican Party. I'm not here. I just defend MAGA and Trump.
The issue is he's part of the Republican Party that's driving these
he's
issues.
Part of an independent party.
But he's not. He's part of the administration.
Sorry, you've been voted out. Please return to your
Thank you
seat.
so much. Appreciate it.
Hi.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you, Joe. Okay, this is something I personally know a little bit about because I joined the campaign to see for myself if RFK was crazy. And
Did you think that initially?
No. I listened to some of his podcasts.
I joined the campaign to see if RFK was... You could at least lie about that. I joined to see if RFK was crazy. Oh, did you think he was crazy when you joined? No, actually, I fucking loved him, and I still do. Go figure.
I read his memoir on his family, and I was like, it sounds like this guy cares about people.
I actually would probably not disagree.
Like, what? The memoir that he's writing to sell you on himself? His own personal fucking advertising? Like, go read the memoir of the fucking CEO of Enron. I'm sure it's filled with a bunch of happy stories, too. What the fuck is the statement?
Agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, good intentions can have terrible outcomes. So.
Right. And I do have I was specifically following his vice president, Nicole Shanahan, around the country for 8 months. She had put together this think tank to figure out how to fix climate change. Basically came back, said all green energy is bunk. There's one thing that we could do to become carbon neutral, and that's regenerative farming. But we'd have to switch.
Wow, how crazy is it that the same ideological group of people that are predisposed to hating all of these fucking things put together a think tank that also came back hating all these things. Oh, and also they told you the only way you can actually help these things is by doing this other completely semi-unrelated thing that is another thing we all strongly believe in. Oh, and also vaccines probably contribute to climate change as well.
Switch over 200,000 acres, I think, of farmland. We either have to be able to explain why we're doing everything. Otherwise, we're going to end up in the situation that I think we are now. Tylenol, to me, was the antithesis of everything I had been trying to do. And whatever, I'm not there doing it, so I don't represent them. But that was a disaster because
we're here now fighting more instead of working together.
Do you think we're fighting?
Me and you?
Yeah.
No,
Oh.
but I do think that Maha and the traditional medical world, there is a lot of misunderstanding and it's not good for anybody.
What is the misunderstanding?
I mean, I think the skepticism with doctors that began with COVID. And I don't think RFK is in HHS without COVID. I think that there has been a disaster that has just kept going and some
I just want to say, just for the framing, and I'll die by this, and I will become part of the Sharia intelligence enforcement squad or whatever. COVID was just it was a miracle in terms of public health internationally, with the unprecedented amount of scientific research that was being thrown onto Redivex or whatever, like sometimes before even peer review or whatever. There was so much information that came out. There was such a high collaboration with different countries. And the fact that we had a new technology, the whole mRNA vaccine shit that was able to produce a vaccine in basically like fucking 2 days, I think. And the fact that all of the different medical advancements that allowed this to even be injected into your body in a way where it doesn't instantly fucking dematerialize or whatever, these strands of RNA or whatever, and the fact that we were able to deliver so many of these, all of the, because there was also like a huge success story that we don't talk about much in terms of like storage and transportation for a lot of these vaccines. But there was so much cool medical pharmaceutical shit that happened around this that we will never be able to talk about, because people on the left are whatever the fuck, non-existent, and people on the right think that all of it was just poison for your body. Like, it's so crazy. It is so crazy because it was such an achievement in American medicine and neoliberal globalist global homo capitalism and all big pharma and everything else that nobody can talk about. Everybody else's vaccines suck shit. Okay, there's a reason why China steals intellectual property from the United States, because we make the best shit. There's a reason why Elon Musk came here to make cars and rockets, because it was a better country to invest in technology than any other country on the planet. There's a reason why China's vaccine, why Russia's vaccine, why the AstraZeneca, whatever, the ones that was clotting up fucking bonger brains or whatever, none of them worked as well as our mRNA vaccines did, of the two big American companies in collaboration with other companies around the world and other manufacturers around the world. Like, we had the best shit on that, and nobody can take credit for it or say anything about it.
Somehow we need to come together and make sense of this.
Well, I'm hoping today that could be it.
We're going to solve the whole
Well,
thing.
no,
right?
I think by having these conversations we can. Because, look, okay, Secretary Kennedy got Skittles, I believe, to remove titanium dioxide, a random chemical outside of Skittles.
Yeah.
But let's be as genuine and honest as possible today.
All right.
Is that the reason why Skittles is not considered a healthy food for kids?
Probably not.
So I feel their administration is not considered a healthy. As genuine and honest as possible today.
All right.
Is that the reason why Skittles is not considered a healthy food for kids?
Probably not.
So I feel their administration is getting all these random PR wins that aren't actually making America healthy. Mm-hmm. And I would love for Americans to get healthy, but they're just not doing it, and they're distracting everyone with all of this noise that I feel actually harms people.
I mean, I don't entirely disagree. It feels, as someone who's trying to support this, it feels like there's sabotage in the administration.
Okay.
Straight up. I think the solution probably is, okay,
less regulation, less FDA stuff, less all that.
HHS is cool for the first time ever, whether we like the guy that became the face of it or not. He's a 70-year-old healthy man who overcame heroin and talks to eagles. That's not the worst thing we could be dealing with.
I think Falcons are cool.
Yeah, but he needs help from the medical industry. He needs help from the pharmaceutical industry, because it can't all be bad. I agree. I would argue.
Because if someone fainted here today,
you're
all calling 911 or we're yelling for me to help. That's the thing.
Yes.
I don't know if you saw during the GLP-1 press conference.
Yes.
There was an individual.
Why are Maha people either actual health freaks or just actual fat fucking slobs? No, Maha are not health freaks anymore. So the older anti-vax people were health freaks, but they were actual health freaks. They were I don't eat fucking processed foods. I don't eat fast food. So a lot of them were fucking vegan, or I won't eat red meat because it's more cancerous, or I stay away from those. Those were actual health freaks. The new era of Maha people are fucking roided the fuck out on TRT. They eat dog shit fast food all the fucking time. They're doing shit like fucking cocaine constantly, but they don't trust the chemical that a doctor might fucking give me. And they definitely aren't taking certain types of pharmaceutical drugs, but they'll do fucking cocaine and shit every weekend when they're at a party. The new Maha people have nothing to do with health. It's all bullshit. And the little bit of health they can even claim they have is bought and paid for when they go to their men's health clinics to get their fucking shot in the ass of 300 milligrams of fucking whatever every month. It's unbelievable how much stolen valor there is from these fucking losers.
This person fainted. Did you see what Secretary Kennedy did?
It makes no sense.
Well, tell me what he did.
He split out of the room as if...
What do you think I'm going to do if something was happening at this press conference?
Yes.
There was an individual. This person fainted. Did you see what Secretary Kennedy did?
Makes no sense.
Well, tell me what he did.
He split out of the room as if...
What do you think I'm going to do if something was happening to you?
Oh, God, fuck. This is the only thing that I hate they hit RFK Jr. on. This was the only good thing I've ever seen RFK Jr. do on camera. He got help immediately. That's what he was supposed to do. Everybody roasts RFK Jr. for this, but actually one of the biggest issues, and if you've ever seen a fight in a public area before or somebody getting injured somewhere, everybody stands around and watches. That's a real thing that actually happens. Everybody will stand around. There's a diffusion of responsibility, psychological mechanism at play. But like usually you have to call out to somebody, or somebody needs to say somebody needs to get help, or somebody needs to do something, or you have to call a person out or do it yourself. As soon as that guy fainted, RFK Jr. walked over, he grabbed a person to help the dude, and then they came back. He did what he was supposed to there. But don't let the facts get in the way of a good story.
Right now.
Well, you took an oath. You have to help me.
Okay, so why is Secretary Kennedy the one going out and saying, I care about profit? Am I going to ask? Okay, I'll tell you even a cooler story that no one even really knows. I was on an airplane last week. I was flying across the Atlantic Ocean to France.
Yes.
I was exhausted. I didn't sleep the night before. The reason I didn't sleep the night before was because I was doing a Make-A-Wish in Disney with a child who was dying of a cancer, who's only buying time because of the miraculous work at one of the Texas medical institutions. After that, I flew back home, only to fly the next day to France. I'm exhausted. They ask, is there a doctor on board? I'm exhausted, but I care about the patient more. I volunteer. I help one individual. There's a second medical emergency. I help the second individual. There's a third medical emergency. I help that individual. Do I need props for that? Do I need money for that? I couldn't care less.
Is this guy House? How are you on a plane? Are you the fucking Grim Reaper? Why are 3 people dying around you?
I want to help people. These are the type of people and there's so many of them. It's not me. This is who I work with, the people that I surrounded myself with, the colleagues. Do they fail at times? Do they make you feel gaslit as a patient? Yes. We suck at that because our system sets us up as doctors for failure. Healthcare spending is at an all-time high? Absolutely true. Is that because doctors are getting paid more? Absolutely not. It's because administrators have ballooned beyond any reasonable level.
Doctors are getting paid more too, though, motherfucker. You see all these guys that are part of our healthcare system, the doctors, the pharma guys, the pharmacists, the pharmacy assistants, okay, all the traveling fucking nurses, okay? You motherfuckers, okay. I need the Doke sound effect. Moot and play it. You fucking oh, he's muted, motherfucker.
Yikes.
All these motherfuckers are getting paid a lot, okay?
Pharmaceutical companies have no transparency. Pharmacy benefit managers who take kickbacks and all sorts of rebates with zero transparency break the system. And instead of going after those issues, Secretary Kennedy's calling me.
Not to bog down the commentary, but what's the general profile on Dr. Mike and how he got so popular? Because he was voted America's hottest doctor, okay?
Profit monger. Aren't you benefit managers who take kickbacks and all sorts of rebates with zero transparency break the system? And instead of going after those issues, Secretary Kennedy's calling me a profit monger. Aren't you mad at that?
Yes, I absolutely am, because I care about people. And I think that we should be doing a better job. And I think that a big part of what there's a hurt that our food systems have been ignored by large corporate power that does run things. And somehow this movement has come out of a place of people being like, there's important things like nutrition that needs picked up. Does it need to get taken over by pig stop?
Like, I'm so sorry, but fuck you, okay? These motherfucking conservatives, and they do it even today. What did Trump just get rid of like a week ago? Was the pollutions cap on whatever the average pollution had to be, or miles per gallon had to be of the fleet of vehicles that you sell? Trump just axed this EPA cap because he's like, oh well, we need the freedom to drive what we want. Big solar or big climate change is trying to tell you what kind of cars you can drive. They're trying to tell you how gay your vehicle has to be and how huge your Cybertruck needs to be, and all of it has to be EV. Fuck these guys. We're not gonna let them control our lives. Okay, so the same people who aren't even willing to, for some of these people, don't even want catalytic converters on their cars, are okay with the government stepping in and telling them exactly what they're allowed to fucking eat? How is that? In what world? So the government is going to tell Mr. McDonald how much sugar he can put in my fucking cheeseburger? And I'm okay with that, but I'm not okay with my car having to filter out emissions before they go into the fucking air? Like, in what world does this make sense?
God, no. Yep. We don't want more.
Yeah. You've been voted out.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Appreciate
absolutely.
it. Hello, sir.
Good. Good to talk to you.
Pleasure.
Yeah, going off of what the other guy said, you're saying that why is the RFK's industry, why is he attacking you personally, right, as a doctor? And I don't think he's ever called you out, Dr. Mike, what you're saying. I
understand all doctors.
Right, but I understand what he's saying is that the fact that there is a profit margin that they're trying to meet in the medical industry. They're merging with government, like during the COVID scam, right? And they had people like Dr. Fauci in, which was pushing these mRNA harmful shots into the public through government-mandated vaccines, right?
Well, we had options that weren't.
Was the J&J covered by... Couldn't you get the Johnson & Johnson one if you want? You didn't have to get one of the evil mRNA ones. Notice how these motherfuckers also, by the way, this is one of my favorite dialogue tree lines, when they're like, oh, the COVID shots? I didn't trust mRNA vaccine technology. And you follow that up with oh, okay, so you got the Johnson & Johnson then, I guess, right? it was such fucking bullshit. And I think enough time has passed. I know I said this multiple times. 5 years ago, I said, 5 years from now, when all of the mRNA shots are safe and the mass deaths never happened, the mass side effects never happened, and the mass third legs and all this other bullshit, none of this ever happened. Are you going to trust the shots anymore? No. And they don't. And none of it ever came out. None of it has come out. None of it happened. It was all a fucking lie, despite what these fuckers say. And none of their opinions on it have changed at all. In fact, they hate even more vaccines now than they did 5 years ago.
Harmful shots into the public through government-mandated vaccines. Right?
Well, we had options that weren't mRNA.
Well, no, we did not have an option because
I'm saying there were vaccines that were not mRNA.
No, it was not an option to take whatever shots that was mandated from government because
some of them were not.
The country was in lockdown, right? The country.
Who was the government then, by the way? Who was the government then? Who was the government then? Whose government? Lockdown? Who was that?
Was in lockdown. We had masks over our faces. We had these media pouring out all these propaganda to us, right? So at the beginning of the pandemic, it was 2020. They were saying that, all right, so this is a very dangerous virus that's coming out of Wuhan, China. And like what you were saying about knowledge, informing the public, they did not give us the proper information about how to treat this virus.
We didn't know.
Oh no, you idiot. We did know. And it was monoclonal antibodies, hydroxychloroquine, ivermectin, and throw a super shot of vitamin C in there, okay? Just for good 100,000 milligrams of vitamin C.
No, wait. No, we did. No, the public didn't know, right?
I didn't know.
Okay, well, maybe you didn't. Okay, so I'm going to assume I'm not assuming you didn't, right? But we didn't know. So the doctors were coming out saying, no, we need zinc.
Oh, or Z-Pack, zinc plus azithromycin. Fuck! I forgot that was a big one, Orlan. Zinc plus Z plus zinc and azithromycin was a big one.
Vitamin D, sunlight. People were told to stay indoors.
Sunlight.
I agree, that was stupid.
True.
Yeah, that was very stupid. And being locked in.
The closing of the beaches and all that stuff.
Hydroxychloroquine, right? Hydroxychloroquine.
Yes.
Trump was saying it's hydroxychloroquine in my work.
Yeah.
And people just got on him, attacked him for it. Now we know it works.
No.
I've taken it myself.
No.
My friends have taken it myself.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
And it does work.
No.
Right?
I would say that the evidence says otherwise.
No, it does work.
It
Basically,
doesn't.
what I'm saying is the pharmaceutical industry, through people like Anthony.
Like, why is he? Laugh at him. Hell yeah! Look at the Giga Chad. The forward lean. This guy is cowering in fear, trying to get away from the table as much as possible. Hands aren't touching the table, not resting his hands, wrists, or anything. He's completely backed off. Dr. Mike, elbows on, lean forward, aggressive, grimacing smirk. This guy is just completely mogged right now.
Fauci and Dr. Deborah Birx, they're merging with big government in order to do these lockdowns, in order to have government mandates, medical mandates, in order for us to take these. So I don't think you can compare what RFK Jr. is saying along with what the medical industry, what he's going up against is saying.
Okay, pause. You've been voted out.
Gosh.
Got him. He owned Mike there.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Hello, pleasure.
Dr. Mike. Can you repeat the claim just real quick?
We're on claim that the Maha leadership cares less about health and more about money, power, and politics.
So the previous Health and Human Services secretaries, they all cared about health, would you say?
I would say that they put a higher emphasis on health, yes.
Okay, do you know our rating in the world for maternal mortality rate, infant mortality,
It's
obesity,
terrible.
type 1 diabetes,
Terrible,
type 2 diabetes?
terrible,
We lead in
terrible.
all developed
Terrible.
nations across the
Terrible.
world.
Terrible.
And for chronic diseases,
Terrible.
we're number one in the world.
I don't
even
think we're
non-developed
number
countries,
one
right?
in the world.
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
For chronic diseases in a single biome,
Again, it depends
we
what
lead.
you put into the chronic disease, but yes, okay.
So all this, and did you have any, like...
Yeah, I have a...
Also, like... This is a dumb... It's just... Why is it only American companies that want to kill all our people? So, like, is the claim here that all the pharmacy companies in all the other countries love their citizens and they're doing their best to provide, like, a good product? But, like, in America, our businesses are, like, uniquely evil? Like, do the Jews just fuck with us? Why don't the Jews fuck with, like, all the European countries or whatever? Why is it just us? Why are our companies all uniquely evil and horrible towards us? Like, what? Maybe socialism is the answer for you fucking retards then. If that's honestly what's going on, because apparently American companies must uniquely fucking hate Americans if that's the case.
For the past, for the
I have a
people that were in
reason.
charge before, did you go against them? Because our health has been on a steady decline.
I think that we're conflating a couple of things, and check my logic.
Yes.
So if you think my logic is flawed, tell me why. I think that the reason we got to where we are today is multifactorial, meaning for a bunch of reasons. But the biggest reason, I think because we live in a capitalist nation, we try and get people to eat the foods that are most addictive, that taste the best, that make us very unhealthy. And just like any other thing that we do in society, when we tire it out for making profits on one end, we try and create solutions for those problems and make money on making the solution. This happened with horse and carriages where there's poop all over the streets, and now we have the issues with cars and people are trying to figure out ways how to make money by cleaning our environment. We're a capitalist nation. So over the last 50, 100 years or so, the chronic health diseases have gone up because people have gained a lot of weight from eating really unhealthy foods, not because we in the healthcare system necessarily have failed them, and there is instances why we have, but it's just because these foods were so addictive. We tried to create the highest profit margins, and not
Like, how does Big Pharma make you a type 2 diabetic? Can you walk me through that from start to finish? Just how?
not take health seriously. Also, social media, electronics, people not leaving their homes, being sedentary. There's folks, I have patients who don't leave their house for days because they can have relationships with people online. They have their virtual realities where they don't have to participate in sports or any kind of other.
Hey, fuckboy. Hey, Mr. Party during COVID when you told people to stay inside. Hey, fuck you, okay? If we want to stay inside all fucking day and not go outside to be poisoned by your horrible environments you're making for us, fuck you, okay? Maybe we like playing games with our friends, all right? Maybe we weren't all born as 6'2" GigaChad doctors, all right? Fuck this guy. I'm Dr. Mike's #1 anti-fan now, okay?
Activities. So in general, our lifestyles have gotten unhealthy. But to blame that on past health and human services secretaries, I feel like is an inaccurate way to blame somebody.
Well, I'm just using your logic because you said he doesn't care about health. So if it's been on a steady decline, then that means all the previous ones
Correct.
didn't care about health.
I think
and if our increase in spending is what, $5 trillion in healthcare, it's $10 trillion worldwide. We spend 50%.
Okay, is this like a toupee or whatever? What's happening here?
Compared to the whole world in healthcare, we're ranked #1 in all those categories. So if it's been on a steady decline, then you have to have some against all the previous ones too, right?
So you're looking at certain numbers and you're just zooming in on those numbers. Again, as I mentioned earlier, chronic health diseases have gone up. Part of that is because there's less acute death. So we've had wins in preventing acute death. So people who have sepsis, who have strokes.
Okay, I can't tell if all the people who are calling it a fresh lineup in chat are white people that have heard what fresh lineup is, or if I have no idea what a fresh lineup is. Are you telling me that if you put your hair down and you cut it in a straight line, that counts as a lineup? I thought that's when the actual hair itself is shaved into like or buzzed to like a certain point. It's not you can't just get like, this is the sickest lineup I've ever had when I cut my hair at the same length. That's just called a haircut.
Of heart attacks. Pharma has been driving the survival of these individuals. Now, here's the problem. When you solve someone's acute illness, they end up being a sick person for longer and end up turning into a chronic health patient. So this is an interesting example of our successes actually counting against us. So vaccines eliminating certain conditions in the world, smallpox, polio, measles.
Fuck, this is a good point and true, right? If we just didn't do anything with type 1 diabetics, we would have that chronic illness would be gone. You can't really have that chronic of an illness with type 1 diabetes because you die in like 2 years. Boom! Easy, okay? Easy.
The year 2000s is back now, has led people to believe that these diseases aren't so bad because they don't see them because we've eradicated them. When we help people survive a heart attack and now they become a chronic health patient, we view that as a failure because chronic health numbers are going up. I view it as partially a failure because we could do better there, but also a win that we help them overcome and mortality has dropped.
Yeah, well, our lifespans increased, but our health spans decreased. So by 2050,
what's your definition of health span?
So longevity of like not chronic diseases, obesity, type 1 diabetes, maternal mortality,
Yeah,
those things. So all those have.
I think lifestyle changes are big.
So our lifespans decreased, but our health span has decreased. By 2050, we're going to be ranked 66 in the world.
I hate
life
these prediction
expectancy,
things because those are not very accurate.
2050,
and one medication
bro?
coming out, like we're seeing with the Ozempic Wegovys that RFK is now excited about, can drastically change those outcomes. So it's very difficult to predict those numbers in the future. I will say, like, just zooming in and saying, everyone before Secretary Kennedy was terrible because chronic health disease has gone up and Secretary Kennedy must be better is just not true. Maybe the previous ones could have been better as well. I've criticized Fauci. I criticized Dr. Fauci to his face.
All I'm saying is they didn't care
on a
about health
podcast.
either.
Well,
So
I think
if you're going to make that claim, you have to make that claim for everyone else.
I think they
That's
did.
all I'm saying.
No, you really don't, actually. You could just not be fucking retarded, and you could maybe like make accurate claims too, you know?
They did.
Keep it consistent.
There's difference between they didn't care about health or their policies were unsuccessful. I don't think Secretary Kennedy is actually doing any policies that are meaningfully successful right now.
Okay, pause. We're out of time.
Yeah, I want to get into pharmaceuticals, but
The guy replying said Destiny needs to get shot. Wait, this guy? What, on Twitter? If so, based.
So many choices. I feel like we had a very argumentative end. I chose Jack for the final debate because I feel Jack is arguing in good faith. I believe Jack is very passionate, and I also feel a little bit bad by raising my voice earlier. It was because of passion for patients, but I wanted to rekindle our relationship and see if we can get on a better page. How do you feel about coming up? I said, how do you feel about coming up? But it sounds
I'm
like...
blessed. I'm very grateful to talk to you. I mean, I've watched your stuff. I've known who you are for many, many years. My surrounded claim.
Oh my God, his alted worked. He alted, His alt worked. He alted on Mike and it worked. He brought him back. He's like, fuck, I made this dude cry.
Is that unchecked big pharma is reason enough for Kennedy's reforms. So I guess what I want to start this off with is just a little bit of history, okay? And in 1986, what was signed into law by Ronald Reagan was the National Child Vaccine Injury Act. And from there, you are no longer able to sue companies like Pfizer, holding them accountable for vaccine injury or things like that, for the specific reason that they wanted the releasing of vaccines to be more effective to the public, right? So they set up a national compensation fund. Then you're playing by the federal government's rules in their own courts. And so also another thing that happened is in 2010, I'm going to cite this, is there was a Supreme Court case.
Playing by the federal government's rules in their own courts. Isn't every court playing by the rules of whatever government they're set up in? Like, aren't federal courts playing by the federal government's rule? Aren't state courts? I know what he means. I'm just...
It's called Citizens United versus FEC.
Like, whose rules should they play by?
See, what they decided in the Supreme Court case was that now a corporation is a person, is a singular person, and that to restrict the amount of money that they're able to give to somebody running in a campaign would be infringing on their First Amendment right of freedom of expression.
So that's not even true. Why? People don't even know what you can't. Corporations cannot donate an infinite amount of money to an individual or to a political action committee, right? It's these weird, ambiguous, like super PAC things, and corporations can donate like to super PACs, but it's not. They didn't get around the FEC contribution limits just because you're a corporation. But that's okay.
So from there, we now have today where 95 out of 100 United States senators are now backed by Big Pharma. And then you also have on the flip side, referring back to what Ronald Reagan did in the 80s, you have a large amount of doctors now that are being paid off. As I'm going to bring up the statistic again, 70% of research being published by physicians is published with a conflict of interest. 80% of NIH funding comes from Big Pharma. Things like these, I say, are reason enough that Kennedy's reforms need to take place.
It's interesting. You bring up quite a few subjects. I'll start with the vaccine injury fund. I think that's valuable. I think perhaps your interpretation of the rule there is not exactly accurate.
Okay.
If you go through this national injury vaccine compensation fund and you're not happy with what you received, and you're saying that they didn't give me enough money or it's taking too long, you could drop out and you could sue a vaccine manufacturer. That's absolutely true. You could fact check me.
True.
That's unequivocally true.
But the thing is that the problem is in their country, we have Big Pharma has protections that no other, I was trying to get out here for Big Supplement because I was going to argue that Big Pharma has protections that Big Supplement does not.
Well, they have protections, but they also have a responsibility to put out research that is checked by independent researchers where Big Supplement doesn't. Like, how do we know that taking a medication to lower your blood pressure prevents a heart attack? Because they did the research studies to prove it. But when someone recommends a supplement, they don't have to do that.
So I think it's different. So in the state of California, as of 1980, in all 50 states, you were required to get a vaccine to go to public school, right? This is the thing. So the difference between Big Pharma and Big Supplement is choice. You have several different manufacturers or companies making the exact same thing. The reason why something is called a supplement is because you're supplementing something that's already in your diet. So in today's day in America, 70% of 70% of a child's diet is now ultra-processed foods, right? And so from there, you're having things like vitamin C, creatine.
Is that necessarily true? Aren't there vitamin D supplements, or am I making that up? You don't synthesize vitamin D natural, or can you? I guess you do if there's sunlight. Would you say that you make vitamin D? Maybe, I guess. I don't know. I don't know.
All these things which already exist in the foods we eat, which we are now lacking at a rate like never before because of the diet we have in America.
Do you think there's
How is that Big Pharma's fault, bro?
A widespread issue of vitamin C deficiency in the United States?
I'm not sure specifically about vitamin C.
Well, you just
I don't know.
creatine deficiency. I don't know.
But I'm saying so creatine appears in foods like steak, whatever else, and we're eating those less than we did before. It's necessary.
We're eating red meat.
We eat so much meat. The number one good argument that vegans make is how poisoned a meat eater's mind. By the way, mine is poisoned, and I love it. But it's how poisoned a meat eater's mind is when it comes to putting together meals. People that eat meat cannot conceive of a real meal without some sort of meat component attached, let alone a day's worth of food. Like, if you don't have meat, and I think I even feel psychologically, like if I eat like a meal and there's not like a meat in there, I'm like, I don't even know what's happening. I just feel psychologically incomplete. We Americans dramatically overeat probably all types of meat, but especially red meat. Now, red meat is probably not, I don't want to say it's not like on the level of alcohol, but it's like all the meats you can eat, it's not the greatest for you, regardless of like overprocessing or anything. Red meat in general is a little bit more, I think, like carcinogenic. The fat profiles is not necessarily as good. Like, you're better off eating white meats or whatever. Not to hate red meat. I love red meat. It's my favorite food in the world. But
less than before?
So creatine appears in foods like steak, whatever else. When we're eating those less than we did before, it's necessary.
I hate this too because it's like there is no creatine deficiency in the United fucking States of America because we eat so much fucking meat. If you wanted to make a good criticism of the average American diet, it's probably too high in carbs, definitely too high in red meats. We need more micronutrients from a variety of vegetables, and we probably need less ultra processed food. If you're criticizing the average American diet, like, not enough red meat wouldn't be on like the top 100 things that you would criticize. Like, it's such a fucking stupid. It's the dumbest Never mind. I don't care. Eat what you want to die.
We're eating red meats less than before?
I would say so.
No,
Natural
the
red
American
meat,
standard diet is full
natural
of
red.
Oh, and then he puts the adjective natural red meat. What, as opposed to the lab-grown red meat we're being fed all the unnatural red meat? What, your dad's dick?
even
What
matter,
red meat are you
though.
talking about? What do you mean?
Like red meat's red meat. I guess if we're talking about like organic versus like pumped full of like hormones and shit, I guess it's different. But
Oh, yeah, it's just this. It's like the. It's just so soy. This guy's. Where's my soy Hassan thing?
No, he's not soy. He's red meat pilled.
Oh my God, this is so soy. This is so unimaginably soy.
Thank you.
Meat. What a cheeseburger is made out of is not necessarily the same as what
I think
comes
this
from
is a
cow.
really cool thing for us to end on because it's going to be about me making a disclosure that I'm curious how it lands for you.
Okay.
Are you familiar with the pharmaceutical company Abbott?
No.
Okay, well,
Abbott reconstructed my brain. My whole brain is a synthetic organ created by Big Pharma to come here today to destroy you children.
there's a pharmaceutical company. It's a giant pharmaceutical company. They're called Abbott Labs. They paid me over the last 5 years. I created content for them. Do you think that biases me as a physician to be a worse physician?
I would have to know more about you and things that you said, things that you reported, things like
Well,
that to be able to say
based on
that.
the conversations you heard today. Or is it reasonable
We
to
haven't
think that
talked.
it
Well, we
biases
haven't talked
me?
about Abbott.
Well, here's the reason why I bring it up. Because some people bring this
I just hate everything. Like, if you have any consistency at all, the answer is yes. Like, when you say, well, I would have to know more about you to know if you taking a direct paycheck from a pharmaceutical entity biases you. You can't even conceive of any ways. Like, even Mike's response there is not accurate when he says, well, or no, I'm sorry. The kid's response was stupid. He said, well, you haven't talked about them. Maybe he would otherwise. Maybe if he wasn't paid by them, maybe he had a whole bunch of negative stuff to say about it. You don't fucking know, right? Like, how could you say something so stupid? Not to say that Dr. Mike is being biased or is paid off or whatever by these guys in a negative way where they're buying his opinion. But like, this kid doesn't even know the basic claims that you would make against somebody or why conflict of interest is even a fucking problem.
Or is it reasonable
We
to
haven't
think that
talked.
it
Well,
biases
you haven't talked
me?
about Abbott.
Well, here's the reason why I bring it up. Because some people bring this up as a way to sort of weaponize the fact that I'm taking money from Big Pharma. And I think it's reasonable to bring it up whether or not it does bias me. I think I should evaluate that within myself. Here's what I took money from Abbott for. To create a multi-year long campaign to encourage blood donation.
Okay.
Abbott is one of the largest testers in the United States of donated blood. So they make money by checking donated blood to make sure it's free of diseases, because that's what we want, right? Like if you get into a car accident, you get a transfusion, you want disease-free blood. So I think it's a good thing that they do that. And they were facing a huge shortage, especially after the pandemic. So they hired me to try and figure out a way to encourage blood donation.
So your main argument would be that we should look into, okay, the actions that people are actually taking when they do take money from companies or whatever that be. And we want to see.
Why did this guy just discovered responsible disclosure? He's like, wait, so are you saying that like we should evaluate the actual statements and things that people say instead of selectively picking some conflict of interest that we don't like? Like, I feel like I'm watching a, what do you call those? Like, it would be like the educational videos where there's like a kid and it's like, hey, what's up, educational puppet man? I actually think that playing in traffic is cool. And then by the very end of like the episode, they're like, wow, you made a lot of good arguments. So you're saying that when I run into the street like a fucking midget, I might get hit by a giant hunk of metal that weighs 3,000 pounds that could fucking instantly shatter my skull? Thanks a lot, Mr. Puppet Man. Like, that's crazy. I'm not going to play in the street anymore. Like,
what people are doing with it.
Sure.
So should you say that that argument then applies to RFK's actions after winning lawsuits and getting paid from those?
yes, we've been critical of all of RFK Jr.'s actions. The only reason he brought up the conflict of interest thing earlier is to show you that you're being a hypocrite when it comes to evaluating people on the conflict of interest. But you can still criticize RFK's actual fucking statements and actions because they're bad.
Okay, so then you criticize RFK from taking money, right? So I think that we should say here is, okay, we need to apply that exact same logic to Kennedy, because you criticized him heavily for taking money in the lawsuits in the cases.
I didn't
that he's
criticize
won.
him. I said I
It
presented
was for not disclosure. Not disclosure is a difference.
that because someone said earlier that if someone is biased by taking money from a pharmaceutical company, I said, how is he not biased if he's taking money from a lawsuit case?
So I think generally your overall argument is that so often bias isn't necessarily a bad thing.
I think bias that is hidden is a bad thing.
There you
Okay,
go.
how would you say that something is a hidden bias when you have situations like on a grand scale in the United States, and this is kind of my overall problem, right, is that you're seeing that this money is actually making a difference. It's not just somebody supporting a company or whoever's giving them money because they believe in what that company stands for, right? Because what we're seeing is if you give a doctor even a meal as small as $20, then they're actually going to be more likely to prescribe
So do
from
you
that
think
company.
I'm more biased?
Is it really $20 to buy off a doctor? Where can I sell some fucking medicine? $20?
Because I took a lot of money from Abbott.
That's the thing, I don't know anything
But you just
about
said
your actions.
$20 will bias you. So I took way more than $20, I promise you.
But are you actively writing prescriptions right now?
Of course.
He's a fucking doctor. He's a practicing physician right now that works at a fucking... Yes. He said it earlier.
A practicing physician. But do you know how many vaccines Abbott, for example, makes here?
No.
0.
I'll say you specific. I'll say, you know, I'll be respectful. You got me there, but that's the thing is I just don't.
But it's not about getting there. It's about the fact that like my issue with bias is, to me, bias becomes an issue when it's hidden and there's a lack of transparency. And I fault the pharmaceutical company for playing these games with pharmacy benefit managers. They play these types of untransparent issues all the time. And
Now remember, doctors make really good criticisms outside of their field, but when they're talking about other things, the secret fight is happening. The reason why Mike hates pharmacy benefits managers is because they're taking his money, not your money. They're taking his money, Don't ever forget that. Nobody hates inside medical industry people more than other people competing for inside medical industry people trying to make even more money, these greedy fuckers.
But when you have administrators within the MAHA leadership, Casey Means, Kaylee Means, these individuals can be taking money from companies and no one is aware of who's taking the money. But when you look at the Sunshine Act, which requires pharmaceutical companies to tell the truth about doctors taking money, you know the transparency is there.
When it comes
Don't you think there's less bias when there's transparency?
Yes, absolutely. That's one of the things that RFK and the MAHA movement represents.
So when he shuts down public opinion after an HHS policy, you think that's transparency?
It's specific to shareholders, and they want to know what they
Stakeholders.
Stakeholders.
Stakeholders meaning that
how do you mix this up?
It's a policy that will impact someone's life. So imagine HHS was ruling on
a shareholder is just a person who like owns stock or owns equity in a company. Is like a stake or is a shareholder. Stakeholders, that term can encompass way more people, all the way out to anybody who's even affected by a thing. A stakeholder is a way broader category of thing than just a shareholder. Did he think that these meetings were just? Did he think they were just shareholder meetings? Because that's such an unbelievably corrupt even concept. Like, oh well, big pharma will sometimes they have a transparency period where they talk to shareholders of the company? Is that what he thought?
Policy for a condition that you had. They just cut HIV funding. I'm not saying you have HIV, but let's say someone has HIV. Well, let's take that back. Let's say someone has HIV and they just cut HIV funding. Before, HHS would have to have a time of public opinion to voice concerns about that. He removed it. Where is the radical transparency?
So here's the thing. The one thing you need to understand about
No, response, pivot to whole new thing. I wish I could do this, dude. I need to learn these strategies. I want to debate every point so badly. This guy, just shameless pivot, whoosh, to the next thing.
Federal government is intended to move slow, right? And the thing is that the Senate legislation, they're in charge of the purse of the United States of America, and right now we're on a government shutdown, right? And so in order to get a lot of funding for these things, it has to come from the legislation. And so until we can get spending, which, I mean, Democrats wanted to increase our spending on Medicare and Medicaid by $1.5 trillion. So until we get this money, you can make cuts, but it's largely, it's very, very difficult for the federal government to then add things.
So
You think that they cut this because of the shutdown?
Secretary Kennedy is part of an administration that controls the legislative branch, the
Supreme Court. There's a separation of powers. The executive branch does not control.
Well, they have the majority in the legislative branch.
The majority is nothing when you
executive
have
branch and the judicial branch. Why is more not being done to rein in pharmaceutical companies? Why is more not being done about improving chronic health conditions with children instead of talking about Skittles and titanium dioxide?
Well, it's not that simple. You have something in our Senate called a filibuster. So even if Republicans have a majority,
so
we are still on a
did he
lockout.
present something that someone filibustered against? You're talking about all these hypotheticals.
I'm talking about why they can't get money in the first place. It's because we're in a shutdown.
Money for what?
The federal government gets money from the legislation when they pass a bill.
Month or so. What about the time that he was in office before that?
Well, the thing is the federal government, like I said, it moves very, very slow. So the very beginning of his administration was...
How is it that Biden can get trans dick drugs to women instantaneously, but for RFK Jr., it takes him 12 years to get doctors to tell patients to get on a fucking treadmill? How can we circulate the trans drugs through the goddamn life stream of American society, through all the children's school? How did we get so much girl cock growing out there so quickly, but it takes RFK Jr. fucking a million fucking years to do the simplest fucking shit ever? Okay? Can we just put the trans people in charge of the sniper training units and of all the policy distribution units? Apparently they can get every fucking thing done instantaneously, okay? These people need to be in charge of the world. Trans people and Jews need to run everything, okay? Because apparently they're the only fucking people that get anything in society fucking done ever. Holy shit.
Was intended to, okay, look over those things, bring oversight, and then make these cuts. And now when it comes time to actually pass a spending bill, we're not able to do that because we're in a lockout and we can't even agree on things like this. Even when you have a majority, a filibuster is still very, very powerful, but I still don't think that it should be abolished.
So let me ask you this, because this is a good question for me to understand your position better. Secretary Kennedy's been...
This is a good way. Have you read an IQ test before? I'm just checking. Okay. Any developmental disabilities affecting the above the shoulder area?
In the office about a year. Is that fair to say? It's a little less than that, but let's say a year. So far, he's removed red dyes, which I think is a good thing out of kids' foods. Some random other things about swapping oils for one another, which I don't think makes a big difference. Removing certain
chemicals. So are you upset with him by not doing it?
No, I want...
What?
Stay mad, die lover.
I am. I want more dye back. I just
said the opposite.
I want to fucking raw dog that shit.
For one another, which I don't think makes a big difference. Removing certain.
So are you
chemicals.
upset with him by not doing
No.
enough?
I want to recap everything he's done.
Are you upset that he hasn't done enough? How much can we demand of one man? How much more can one man do than RFK Jr.? Okay? He's trying to do pull-ups at the same time. Do you know how hard it is to do policy at the HHS while you're also doing 100 pull-ups a day?
And then we could talk about it.
Okay.
So those are the big things he's done. He's also published a MAHA report, this landmark report that they celebrated that had false sources in it, inaccurate statistics. He did a press conference saying that he swore he'd find the cause of autism, where he said the cause and then 2 weeks later took it back. You feel like this is a good first year for him?
Well, the thing is that science is a constant thing. Science is constantly developing. And so you can't necessarily hold.
He should just punch him as hard as he can in the face and say, like, maybe there's going to be a study tomorrow that shows that broken noses are actually good for you. And then hit him again. And there's going to be a study the day after that says broken ears are good. And just keep punching until he dies in a video game.
Hold him to something that he says, even when he retracts it. I would honestly say that that itself is trans.
Wait, did you hear that? Oh!
Trans?
No! Wait, I pre-watched this 2 hours ago.
Took it back. You feel like this is a good first year for him?
Well, the thing is that science is a constant thing. Science is constantly developing. And so you can't necessarily hold him to something that he says, even when he retracts it. I would honestly say that that itself is transparency.
So what?
This is what I said 2 hours ago when I was like, these fucking retards, when they say mistake, they treat an empty, hollow statement, okay? Now, that's a little mean to say to RFK Jr. since half his head is technically hollow, but they treat these empty, hollow statements, and and then when they walk them back 3 months later, because they never had any fucking proof for the first statement they made, they're like, well, isn't that the same as when the Lancet retracts a study? Like, aren't we all just doing science at the end of the day? Isn't it all the same fucking shit, dog?
Happened in the 2 weeks from when he said Tylenol did cause autism to when it didn't? What new information came out that suddenly scientifically made him change his mind?
Enough scientific evidence to disprove
You
what
think
he
that, you think
Oh, enough.
In those 2 weeks it came out.
In the 2 weeks, we've discovered autism around the world. Thank
research
you.
was published in those 2 weeks?
Do I think the research, well, not necessarily, but they could have, in their systems, looked at more research outside of that.
In their systems? What, fucking the filing cabinets that were buried under the earth? Or in the hidden research archives of RFK Jr.'s brain? What fucking systems? What, like, we should say, stop, we're gonna spend the next 3 minutes on this. Talk me through that. I wanna know what secret systems these guys are going through. What secret research did these guys have access to that nobody around the world knew anything about? Please, talk me through that.
You don't think they should have done that before making a press conference to millions of people in the United States?
And how do they get credit? The Vosh thing I used to talk about, they get credit both ways. They get credit both ways. You can't drink a gallon of milk and then piss in my mouth and tell me that I'm getting my adequate milk intake for the day. It's not the same thing. You can't be wrong on something and get everybody to jerk you off for it and then correct the thing you already knew was wrong 3 months later and then get a congratulatory statement on being transparent on that. That's fucking retarded. You can't fuck up over and over again and get credit for fixing your fuck ups when you should have made the fuck up in the first place.
What actually happened is he said that there could be a possible link. He didn't just...
He said there was a causal link, a possible link. This has been worse for my health than any video I've watched on stream before.
Say.
Oh, don't worry, we're almost there, Mr. Wynn, okay? 5 minutes.
To millions of people
the
in the
thing
United
is, what actually happened is he said that there could be a possible link. He didn't just say,
well, the
Tylenol causes
FDA
autism.
commissioner
They
went on-
literally said that. It wasn't a possible link. It wasn't even a strong correlation. It was a causal link. They used the word causal link. They said that.
Fox News and said causes.
He straight up said that
Straight
it
up says
caused
causes.
But then
Oh,
again,
well, I didn't know about that. But he's going to defend it anyway. But he's about to defend it anyway.
And 2 weeks later, they went back and they said, that's not the case.
Yeah, but there was no new, like, I get.
Now the statement that he should make is, oh, okay, what did Fauci make that was the equivalence to that much of a fuck up? Tell me. Dipshit. And call him a dipshit.
I'm trying to be fair. Let's say they said it causes it. And then in the middle of that, 2 weeks later, they published a new article that disproves and they go, we learned, we need to take it back. I wouldn't judge them for that. But that didn't happen.
I mean,
man.
so often, though, you do judge Kennedy for things that he doesn't necessarily believe anymore.
Oh my God. And the pivot. I hear the shoes squeaking on the court.
Like what?
And specifically, I was talking about that Kennedy, well, he said that half of China has diabetes, right?
Sure.
And so the actual percentage was 13% had diabetes. And then the remainder making up that half is actually has pre-diabetes.
40% were pre-diabetic. I don't even know if there's enough fucking food in China for that many people to be pre-diabetic. That's a lot of motherfucking Chinese people, motherfucker. What are you talking about?
And so I don't think you should necessarily hold things like that against him. Because
You
he's a
don't
man.
think I should hold the Secretary of Health and Human Services from getting statistics wrong over and over again?
Well,
about health and things related to human services? Like, what the fuck? Bro, what can I hold him accountable for then?
No, it's not. It's like if he has.
That's the most important thing for him.
Well,
He's in
What the fuck is his job? What separates him from some random retard, aka you, and a computer that can Google shit?
charge. He's the one making decisions.
The thing is, if he's conflicted by something and there's something that says something, I think it's honest if he would present that in front of the American people.
I'm conflicted? These guys were literally fucking scaremongering women out of taking Tylenol if they had fucking headaches while they were pregnant. These people were literally telling you you're gonna kill your fucking kid or have him be birthed with fucking autism, or even worse, he'd be a fucking Trump voter when he grows up. That's how crazy these guys were acting if you took any fucking Tylenol when you were fucking pregnant. What do you mean he was conflicted about it?
Right, but it didn't take me a lot of work to find out what the number was. Like, if I can find it out as a YouTuber, why can't the Secretary of Health and Human Services get the numbers right before making a... It's not like someone asked him off the cuff, what's the percentage? And they gotcha, you got it wrong. He presented it at a conference.
So simply for him presenting a study that contains nuance, you're going to have a problem.
Nuance. It was nuance. It was nuance. This guy's like all the conservative bad faith tactics rolled into one giant, but all of them are like this. It's like so much retarded shit. There has to be like a debate. We need to have like a shot off, okay? Not killing each other. But like you do shots, like 5 or 6 drinks. I need them shit faced. And I want to ask, you understand how fucking full of shit you are. You must understand how you embody every single toxic aspect of the discourse. Every bad thing about public discourse is encapsulated in you. Is that intentional, or did it just happen to be that way?
It's not he was presenting nuance. He's presenting inaccurate information that is very simple to fact check. I think it was a really productive conversation between folks who very much disagree with me. And I'm hoping today was an opportunity for them to see that doctors are interested in helping them, that the healthcare system could be revived, and there's absolutely opportunities for us to see eye to eye.
When there's rebellion, an empire is always going to call it misinformation, dishonesty, et cetera, all these things. So if you...
A rebellion?
Misinformation. Rebellion, an empire is always going to call it misinformation.
You are the empire, you retarded fuck. Donald Trump is the president for the second time in the United States. You can't be calling yourself a fucking rebel anymore. What the fuck is wrong with you? How stupid are you? At some point, you have to put on your big boy pants and realize that you're the one in charge.
Dishonesty, et cetera, all these things. So if you are going to attempt to try to convince these people that you really have the truth, you can't frame things in a dishonest way like he did today.
Somehow
like, at what point do you take responsibility? Like, if these guys were Harry Potter, remember when he comes back in time and he watches the Dementors fucking sucking his soul out? These guys would just sit there and they'd watch themselves die, because the idea of ever taking responsibility or ever doing anything to better anything in their entire fucking life is literally inconceivable. They would just sit there and watch themselves die, saying, I'm sure fucking big whoever is about to show up and save me at some point, and not get the fucking clue that they need to actually take some fucking active measures in their life or in government to change shit.
Information has been weaponized, and we're fighting. And that needs to end, and someone needs to be big enough to bridge that gap.
Instead of focusing on better transparency, more scientific rigor, we instead have an individual who doesn't quite understand science, someone who takes anecdote over hard data. And ultimately, that's going to make worse outcomes for all of us.